head of the first generation, we Uchiha have managed to gather in this era. Should we wait for our own people to send us back, and then wait for Uchiha's genocide? Although Sasuke and others are still there, the family of a dozen or so people is nothing compared to the once glorious Uchiha. Now more than a dozen patriarchs of Uchiha have also appeared in order. From the very beginning to the end, there are a total of 10 third-generation family patriarchs. The first generation even goes back to the Sengoku era, which is even more distant than Uchiha Madara's era. The patriarch of the last generation of Uchiha is naturally Fugaku. He sat here with his eyes closed and his brows tightly furrowed. It could be seen that he was very distressed now. Perhaps what is worrying is whether to accept the arrangement of fate, or to resist. The current Konoha. There is Sasuke, Itachi, and his lovely granddaughter Sarana, although he has no ambition to rule Konoha or the entire ninja world. But being able to enjoy family happiness is also what Fugaku is very eager for. And now it's all within reach. As long as he opens his mouth to say one thing, Sasuke will have no way to send them back in the end. Unless Sasuke kills all his fellow clansmen with his own hands. But it is absolutely impossible for Sasuke to do such a thing. After all, even if he can kill other people, what about himself? Where's the ferret? If Sasuke was really so cruel, he would have become the god of the ninja world and ruled over everything. But without it now, it means that Sasuke looks indifferent on the outside, but he still has his own bottom line in his heart. And a person with a bottom line is much easier to deal with. Although the other party controls an absolutely powerful force. I, Uchiha, have a prosperous era, but in this era, I have become a small family with only a dozen people. I don't even need the impression of external force. If this goes on for a few years, the Uchiha clan will really dilute their blood and eventually become completely extinct. Just like the former Senju clan, I have completely integrated into Konoha. The Senju family was also not destroyed by others, but because of years of fighting, too many people were killed or injured. Even Nawaki died, so one can imagine how many people in the Senju clan died. In this case, the only remaining members of the Senju clan, whose blood has been diluted for a generation or two, will be completely integrated into Konoha. It is completely impossible to continue to bear the surname Senju. The Senju of today may be the Uchiha of tomorrow. Thinking of this, the patriarchs of all dynasties were very unwilling, and they looked at Fugaku. The 10th third-generation patriarch, Uchiha Fugaku, that's your son, can't you go and talk to him? Even if there are a few more women from the Uchiha clan left behind. Uchiha's bloodline must not be cut off just like that. These words made the other patriarchs look forward to it. But Fugaku shook his head. Based on what I know about Sasuke, and the exact words of my son Itachi, Sasuke will not change his decision easily. Hearing that other people were even more helpless. Now that name has spread throughout the ninja world. Sasuke, who was admitted by Sage of Six Paths himself, is the only peak in the ninja world today. No one is Sasuke's opponent. This name is too big and too famous, so that even many people in other eras are about to become extremely fanatical about Sasuke. It is not even an exaggeration to say that now Sasuke orders people to die. Immediately there will be many clansmen standing up to carry out Sasuke's order without hesitation. This is the Uchiha family, who believe in power, and Sasuke happens to be the absolute spokesperson of power. No one can compete with him, not even Konoha's current Hokage. The destruction of Uchiha, is it inevitable? The other patriarchs are in great pain now, and this time Fugaku stood up. Maybe there is a way. Any solution? The patriarch of first generation is very excited, and Fugaku is the key figure in whether Uchiha's fate can be changed. Everything depends on Sasuke's will, if we try to change Sasuke's will. But didn't you just say it yourself? It's hard to change what Uchiha Sasuke decided. Fugaku smiled. Indeed, it's hard. However, sometimes, some things are forced to be done. Maybe I can't make Sasuke change Uchiha willingly, take the initiative to change Uchiha, but what if it is passive? Passive. Everyone froze for a moment. What does this mean? When a person does not want to do something, if other people pin their hopes on him, then this hope will become heavy in the end. It even changes the person's original mind. Hearing that everyone looked at Fugaku here, what Fugaku said made everyone confused. I feel like I understand it, but I don't know how to do it. Fugaku smiled. It's very simple. Starting today, the Uchiha clan will begin to integrate into Konoha. As others want, we are the kind Uchiha clan, blending into Konoha and establishing bonds with people of this era. If one day they really want to leave, then maybe they will do something for us. At the same time, the new patriarch of the Uchiha family, no. Not just the new patriarch, if it is a new Uchiha, then whether Uchiha can be reborn depends on Sasuke. Then it should be the new Uchiha ancestor, it's time to be born. Fugaku said. However, the moment he finished speaking, he suddenly felt a blur in front of his eyes. This made Fugaku stunned for a moment. Although he had already activated Mangekyo Sharingan, he rarely used it. Why does vision loss occur, and what is going on? However, when he was wondering, suddenly he felt that instead of his eyesight declining, he could see more clearly. Before using Mangekyo Sharingan, it seems that the situation of the curse emerging and the light being sealed has improved a little. There is even a faint new force flowing out of the body. What on earth is it? And it's not just Fugaku who feels this way at this moment. Other Uchiha chiefs felt the same way, the ancestor of Uchiha. The eyes of the patriarchs shone with light. Well, it's decided, the new Uchiha clan, the ancestor of Uchiha is Sasuke. The moment when all patriarchs agree to this decision, the county. Everyone in Uchiha seemed to feel some subtle changes at this moment. Among them, the stronger the pupil power, the clearer the feeling. At this moment, even Uchiha Sasuke himself seems to feel some new changes in his body. Sasuke didn't understand where this change came from. All I know is that there are not only Otsutsuki on the moon, but many more. There are so many Otsutsuki people here that Sasuke can't believe it. It seems that because of the confusion, the Otsutsuki family that appeared near the moon in the past have all been transferred here. The power of Otsutsuki finally found the source. So many Otsutsuki clans on the moon. These people also seem to be very curious about this chaotic era now. However, due to the fact that the Moon Otsutsuki family is divided into two groups, one group wants to continue to silently protect the world, and the other group wants to destroy the world and then recreate a new world. The two factions have different ideas, so even because of the confusion, they all came to a certain point in time. But the Otsutsuki clan of the moon still couldn't unite. Even because the concepts of the two are somewhat different. It also made the people of the two factions become tense and ready to fight again. And Sasuke showed up just in time. There is no need to start a war. Or just kill them all yourself. In order to repair the artifact plow, they can be considered to have made a contribution, killing each other and wasting their lives with themselves. It's better to make their lives a little more useful. Sasuke looked down at the Otsutsuki clan below. His hands were clasped together suddenly, wood style. The tree world is coming. The wood style vines that exploded instantly surged out from every corner of the moon. Although these wood style vines are bare, without any green leaves. But here is the moon, without any oxygen, it doesn't matter if it doesn't grow leaves. As long as wood style vines can catch them all. Although the Otsutsuki family of the moon resisted with all their strength, Sasuke's wood style ninjutsu was blessed by the fire of chakra. Beneath the almost infinite chakra, they don't have any resistance at all. In just a few hours, I was trapped by Sasuke all in wood style. And through wood style, Sasuke directly casts the spirit of the gods. You don't even need to touch them one by one. Directly strip all these people of the power of the tiny Otsutsuki blood in their bodies. Then it all came together. A huge moon, tightly entwined by wood-style leman. Fortunately, it was daytime at the moment, and no one noticed the changes on the moon. Sasuke condensed the power of the blood of these Otsutsuki clan, and injected them all into the plow. Soon, the breath of time power erupted from Plow's body, which was visible to the naked eye. The flowing light can be vaguely captured by Sasuke. But the strength of the plow regained, but there was still something missing. Although the power of these Otsutsuki's bloodlines helped Plow regain its strength, the final core still needs to be completed by the big tube wood family who really controls time. And the best candidate is undoubtedly Otsutsuki or Ashiki. But this guy doesn't know where it is. If he can be found, that would be the best. Just when Sasuke put away the plow and was about to leave the moon and return to the ninja world. Suddenly Sasuke stopped, and turned to look back at the people behind him. This person appeared suddenly, without warning. Even the breath is very secretive, if it wasn't for Sasuke's Sharingan, which was in an open state because of the use of the god spirit. It may not be possible to find each other in the first place. This person. The clothes on his body, judging from the above, there is no doubt that they belong to the Otsutsuki family. But the problem is that the other party is Otsutsuki whom Sasuke has never met. Who are you? Sasuke turned around and asked. If it is a Otsutsuki that I have never seen before, is this guy a certain Otsutsuki family from the depths of the universe? It would be bad if other Otsutsuki in the universe discovered Ninja World and came here. Sasuke also doesn't know how many terrifying existences these Otsutsuki clans still have. But no matter what the Otsutsuki clan is like, at least this terrifying guy in front of him. Compared with Yishi that I encountered before, even Kagaya who swallowed the fruit of God is not more terrifying. It's just the chakra fluctuations on the opponent's body that spread out gently. It's as if it can directly set off a violent hurricane. Sasuke looked at each other. The other party is also looking at Sasuke. You are indeed special, arguably the most special Otsutsuki to date. But the strange thing is, the blood in your body seems to be so different. I don't know if this kind of blood belongs to Otsutsuki. The other party stared at Sasuke's body, as if they could directly see through the surface of Sasuke's body, reach the depths of the body, and even see the existence of Sasuke's blood and cells. This feeling made Sasuke very disliked. What a special. The other party smiled. In the past, the power of the Otsutsuki family changed, which was also a common thing. After all, they went to different planets to absorb different forces. What has evolved is that different Otsutsuki have different abilities. So this is not the first time that Otsutsuki's bloodline has changed. But this time is different from the past. In the past, Otsutsuki's bloodline was the main one, and other bloodlines were supplemented. The power of Otsutsuki's bloodline became stronger. Uchiha Sasuke in front of him seems to be just the opposite. His bloodline suppresses Otsutsuki's bloodline in turn, and even absorbs power from Otsutsuki's bloodline to achieve himself. That's why this guy said that Sasuke is very special. You belong to the Otsutsuki clan, from where? Sasuke is very eager to know this question now. If the other party comes from the depths of the universe, it is difficult to guarantee that the other Otsutsuki clan will not notice the Ninja World. If everyone knows that there is such a place as Ninja World, then relying on his strength may not necessarily be able to keep the ninja cause immortal. Hehe. You look nervous. Are you afraid that the Ninja World will be discovered by the Otsutsuki clan? Don't worry. Boy. Once the place is discovered by the Otsutsuki clan, it will be destroyed sooner or later. It's just a matter of time, because wherever it is found, it has already been sent back, so your worries are actually unnecessary. Redundant. It turns out that the Otsutsuki family has known about this place of Ninja World for a long time, but they have not received the fruit of the sacred tree of Ninja World, and the Otsutsuki family is not in a hurry. Why is that? Thinking of this, Sasuke is a little strange. It is not mentioned in the original book, and no one has explained why the Otsutsuki family is so terrifying, and where is their core. Otsutsuki has clans, but are these clans just these few people? Obviously it is absolutely impossible. The Otsutsuki family that has appeared so far is not enough to be called a family. So there's more Otsutsuki that's bound to happen. And where is the other party? Why don't they take care of such a place in the Ninja World? Just let it go. Looking at you, you should have a lot of doubts. Don't be doubtful. You will know when you should know. You are also a member of the Otsutsuki clan. What's your name? Do you want to help Shinobi? Sasuke asked again. And the other party answered Sasuke's question this time. My name is Otsutsuki Shibai. I'm not interested in ninja affairs, but I am very interested in you. Also, can the artifact of my Otsutsuki clan just stay in your hands? So it was for the artifact plow. Sasuke suddenly looked at the other party with a different gaze. Want to snatch the artifact from me? Do you think you can do it? The chakra on Sasuke's body overflowed slowly, as if the real chakra turned into a stream of water, slowly flowing out. Even Shiba's eyes shrank slightly at this moment. He had never seen a chakra like this before. And Sasuke's chakra, purple light chakra, exudes a purple halo, seeing that Sasuke can condense so much blood power into chakra. This shocked Shiba a little bit. What a scary guy. So much blood power can be fused into chakra, condensing so much God's chakra. You haven't reached that level yet, but condensing this kind of chakra, don't you think it's too much damage to yourself? Hearing this, Sasuke was stunned. God's chakra? What's the meaning? Isn't he like the red light chakra of the Otsutsuki clan? Could it be that the red light chakra of the Otsutsuki family, in the final analysis, is formed by using the power of blood to integrate into chakra? Sasuke didn't feel much about this at all. But now Sasuke is more concerned about another point. The other party said that he has not yet reached the realm of God, but he has condensed so many chakra of God. What does it mean? Could it be said that the realm of gods really exists in this world? If there is this realm, Isn't the realm of Sage of Six Paths theirs? Sage of Six Paths is a guy who can reappear in this world by virtue of his own will even after death. Isn't that a god? You seem to be thinking a lot about what I just said. But don't think about it, I'll tell you directly. This dimension restricts all creatures, the so-called gods just break through this dimension. The power of the Otsutsuki blood flowing in your body is the seed condensed by countless generations of our Otsutsuki family, fortunately absorbing various powers. With the power of Otsutsuki, you can break through the limit of the dimension. Shibai raised his hand and the same hand was shining with bright light. A silver-white streamer appeared in his hand. Then it turned into a long sword of silver light and was held in his hand. All the Otsutsuki clan, as long as they devour the fruit of the sacred tree, they can be called false gods. And this is similar to chakra but not like chakra's power, it is the chakra that God can control. Sasuke looks at the purple light chakra on his body. Can he become a false god by devouring the fruit of the god tree? Or because the starting point of the Otsutsuki family is too high, it is not too difficult to become a god. Can you break through this dimension? Shibai said, looking at Sasuke full of expectation. Sasuke is a little confused now, whether this guy is here to grab the plow or to ask questions. You have too many questions. If you don't want to be my enemy, then I can answer a few questions for you. Sasuke is a little unclear now, whether the opponent is an enemy or something else. Hehe. Then there's no need, come on. Either return the artifact plow, or do it. Do it. Sasuke thought about it a long time ago. Heaven's power. The pupil technique was activated directly, and suddenly violent power surged out for a moment, and it was not Sasuke who appeared next to Shibai in the next second. Although the heavenly hand force was activated, it was not Sasuke who completed the transfer in an instant, but the purple light weapon. Zigwang chakra turned into spikes, which appeared from the right side out of thin air and stabbed fiercely at Shibai. At this moment, Shibai only waved the silver sword with one hand, and easily blocked Sasuke's attack. Susanoo, which was instantly diffused and formed by purple chakra, appeared from behind Sasuke and stretched out a hand, grabbing Shibai directly. Shibai stared at the sweeping hand. What a marvelous power. Is this the special product of the fusion of human blood and Otsutsuki's power? It's really extraordinary. Saying that, Shibai raised his hand, his white eyes instantly turned into Rinnegan, the terrifying pupil power exploded, and the pupil power barrier formed directly blocked Susanoo's attack. However, at this fleeting moment, Sasuke was only slightly surprised. Because the way of using power in this way is like the coercion of pupil power, if the pupil power is materialized, it can directly burst out this level of attack. Purple light flickered on Sasuke's body instantly. The pupil technique continued to activate in the next second. Big black day. Long sticks of purple light appeared directly around Shibahu. Obviously, it is zoomed out first, and zoomed in instantly after reaching the designated position. The linkage between Dehadian and Tien's hand strength should have been a very unsolvable attack. However, Shibai's pupil power seems to be strong enough to perfectly capture these flashing images. The body showed a strange posture, twisting the body continuously in the air, unexpectedly avoiding all these attacks dangerously. This surprised even Sasuke. A feeling of powerlessness. With one hand, he suddenly shook the void lightly. In the next second, relying on Sasuke's terrifying chakra, countless truth-seeking balls are instantly condensed into countless truth-seeking balls. Under Sasuke's control, these truth-seeking balls are directly like Gatling, who is crazily tilting bullets. In an instant, the densely packed truth-seeking balls bombarded the opponent. And each truth-seeking ball is condensed with purple light chakra. Covered by purple light, this makes the power of the truth-seeking ball even more terrifying. Shibahu couldn't destroy it easily, he could only wave the silver light sword to block all the attacks that he couldn't avoid. However, the figures also retreated one after another, and every impact, the collision of purple light and silver white light, can erupt a terrifying roar that shakes the sky. Fortunately, this is on the moon, otherwise such a roar would be enough to shake the entire ninja world. However, even so, the terrifying power fluctuations generated by the impact continued to sweep towards the moon. The surface of the moon cracked instantly visible to the naked eye, and basically most of the moon was affected by the force. What a terrible amount of chakra, it's a waste of you to use the chakra of God like this. Said Shibahu rushed towards Sasuke instantly. This was the first time Shibahu took the initiative to attack. This time Sasuke did not fight back immediately, but stared at the opponent silently. The 9-hooked jades were spinning rapidly in Sasuke's eyes, and he wanted to see each other's every move clearly. Prepare to copy Shibai's movements perfectly. Since Shibahu said that his use of Zigwang chakra was very wasteful, then he will take a look at how powerful the other party can use this kind of chakra. The silver light long sword stabs straight at Sasuke. Sasuke's Susanoo swung a huge long sword, and a sword also stabbed in the past. But when the two forces collided, in the blink of an eye, Sasuke's Susanoo was directly defeated. Susanoo's strength was disintegrated, and a sword swept straight at Sasuke. At this moment Sasuke saw it clearly. The silver light long sword seemed to stop flowing for a moment, but the stopped flowing silver light erupted with stronger power, and it seemed astonishing power erupted from it. It is this power that makes Susanoo's power vulnerable. No. It's not just that the momentary silver-white streamer tends to be forbidden, but what really stimulates this power should be something else. Sasuke controls the purple light chakra in his hand, making it immobile. At this moment, when Sasuke could clearly feel that he was not moving, some kind of halo seemed to erupt from the light. This halo seems to be very strong, somewhat indestructible. But that's not enough. Sasuke controlled the purple light chakra gathered in his hands instantly, covering the lightning style that he was about to release. The purple light chakra integrated into lightning style changed the original color of lightning style. Sasuke's black lightning style turned into a tinge of purple. Seeing Sasuke's waste of Zigwang chakra, Shiba just shook his head with some pity. In the next second, the lightning in Sasuke's hand exploded. Chidori, sharp spear. The purple lightning turned into a shocking light and shot directly at Shibai. However, the silver-white long sword in Shibai's raised hand turned into a shield, blocking the front, and Sasuke's attack could not break through the shield at all. It's a pity, your strength should be very strong. As he said that, the pupil power in Shibaju's eyes exploded again, and this time the silvery white light flowed, forming the same shape of a spear. Straight towards Sasuke. The speed is very fast, and it disappears almost in the blink of an eye. For a sudden instant, he stabs directly at Sasuke. The first time Sasuke saw the attack, his instinctive reaction was to condense the truth-seeking ball directly, and the truth-seeking ball instantly formed 3 defenses in front of him. However, they were all penetrated by the silver-white streamer in an instant, and easily penetrated the 3 defenses in the next second. Sasuke's Susanoo emerges, but even Susanoo cannot withstand the attack. Fragile like a piece of bean curd. 2 consecutive defenses were broken. Surprising repulsion burst out suddenly in Sasuke's eyes. And the eruption of repulsive force, the invisible defense barrier formed, seems to have an effect. The silver light spear was blocked. Sparks burst out one after another. Sasuke was a little surprised at this moment. Yingwang chakra was actually restrained by Rinnegan's power. At the same time, Sasuke also wanted to give it a try, so he directly pulled out the 1000-blade Kusanagi sword from his waist, and instantly covered it with purple light chakra. Chakra is also controlled by Sasuke to stop flowing. When an astonishing roar sounded, and the silver light spear was instantly chopped off with a single blow. While the silver light spear was in the air, it directly turned into a floating chakra and returned to Shibai's hands. Seeing this scene, Sasuke frowned. In the hands of Shibai, this power is no longer a one-time use weapon, but something that can be recycled. And it's surprisingly powerful. Sasuke looked at the 1000 blades, Kusanagi sword in his hand, although he still couldn't condense Zigwang chakra into the form of a weapon like Shibai did. It is not difficult to condense into the form of a weapon, but it is rare to let it completely stop flowing. Even if it is condensed into the form of a weapon, chakra is still in a state of flow, and it is quite difficult to control it from flowing. However, Sasuke's Sharingan has been paying attention to Shibai, and Sasuke has learned a lot about the other party's control of this power. Your power is very powerful, but you don't know how to use it. How about this, boy, join us, and I will teach you how to use your extraordinary power correctly. At that time you will become extremely powerful. Teach yourself? Sasuke laughed. Just because you want to teach me? You are not qualified enough. Not qualified? The smile on Shibai's face also disappeared a lot. Is it? I'm not qualified. Very good. Let me show you. This power is truly terrifying. Speaking of which, Shibai manipulated the silver-white streamer, which instantly turned into hidden weapons with strange shapes. The fang-like hidden weapons are full of barbs. This is probably the hidden weapon of the Otsutsuki family. But immediately after these hidden weapons were thrown out, Sasuke was a little surprised. Too fast. like streamers of light attacking him. Heaven's power. Teleport yourself instantly. However, Shibai sneered, hiding? Can you dodge? Locked by my white eyes, where do you think you can hide? In the next second, Lu Guang went directly after Sasuke. Sasuke gritted his teeth lightly, and waved the 1,000 blades, Kusanagi sword in his hand, covered with purple light chakra, maintaining a still state. Frantically waving his arms, these sweeping streamers chopped off. But Shibai's attack doesn't end there. Press down gently with both hands. Sasuke suddenly raised his head and looked towards the sky above him. Silver-white balls appeared one after another. It was as big as a truth-seeking ball, but it slammed down toward Sasuke like a meteor. And at this moment Sasuke dodged quickly. He even used the power of Dahadian to shrink himself instantly, and at the same time directly used the transfer of Tien's hand force to move himself to another place, and then enlarge it. This process is complicated to say. Colleagues have to use 2 pupil skills, but in fact it is displayed almost instantly. The target of Sasuke's transfer this time came directly in front of Shibahu. The Kusanagi sword slashed directly at his forehead. Shibai raised his hand, and a faint silver-white streamer appeared on his elbow. Blocked Sasuke's attack, and Sasuke's eyes expanded instantly. Suddenly, Susanoo appeared behind her, and her huge body slapped Shibai fiercely with both hands. Immediately afterwards, Sasuke's 9-hooked jades vibrated slightly. Immediately afterwards, Amaterasu's flames exploded and engulfed Shibai. But Amaterasu's flame had just appeared, and Shibai absorbed it directly. Then he appeared in front of Sasuke unharmed. This childish attack, are you serious? As he said that, he rushed directly to Sasuke, kicked Sasuke at a very fast speed, and at the same time Sasuke blocked Shibai's attack. 4 silver-white streamers flew over instantly behind Shibahu, and 4 silver-white balls floated behind Shibahu. Sasuke stared at Shibai, but he couldn't feel it because he was in space. But if it is in the ninja world, is afraid that every move of this person in front of him can easily cause huge shocks. That silvery white ball, with just one hit, can make mountains and rivers topple. This guy's use of the so-called chakra of God is indeed surprising. Continue to fight, you will lose soon. It's a pity for your pupil skills and your strength. Give you one last chance, do you want to be with us? Hearing that Sasuke put away the 1,000 blades, Kusanagi sword, seeing this action, Shibai smiled, thinking that Sasuke made the right choice. Sasuke, however, looked at Shibai. After watching it for so long, I finally understand something. You drive that chakra with more than just being stationary. At the same time, what really caused that power to become terrifying is the pupil power, right? Sasuke's voice fell. At this moment, even Shibahu has settled down. He didn't expect Sasuke to see through the mystery so easily. I don't even understand why Sasuke would find out this secret. His pupil power is invisible, so he can't even notice it. What's more, it directly triggered the explosion of chakra's power. Why Sasuke would find out? How? How did you find out? It was said that it was Sasuke's turn to smile this time. Was it hard to find this out? First of all, every time the silver-white streamer appeared, the other party would send out a weak wave of pupil power. To ordinary members of the Uchiha clan, the power of Hitomi power is just a vague thing. But for Sasuke, pupil power is almost physical energy. As far as pupil power is concerned, Sasuke is a Sharingan with Juguyu, and pupil power is stronger than Shibai. Therefore, the pupil power condenses energy like substance, which is nothing. With these eyes of my own, it seems that I can see the strange fluctuations emanating from such a wonderful power as pupil power. Is this important? Hearing that Shibai frowned and looked at Sasuke, looking at Sasuke's eyes, he seemed to understand a little bit. The more you look at the 9 rotating hook jades, the more you feel incredible. How could there be such a weird pupil technique? Is it because of your eyes? The eyes of the 9 Gokudamas. Throughout the history of the Otsutsuki clan, there are almost no eyes like yours. Perhaps it is the special evolution caused by the fusion with human blood. But this kind of evolution usually won't go beyond Zongja's pure white eyes. But Sasuke's situation seems to be different, not only surpassed, but also surpassed in another incredible way. The ultimate evolution direction of Baian should be Jingyan, which can penetrate space, time, and even time and space. That is, the barrier of dimensions. However, Sasuke's eyes are not pure eyes, but they have the ability to detect or see pupil power. If this is the case, then Sasuke's eyes are quite rare. But there's one thing I'm curious about. Sasuke raised his hand to look at the purple light chakra flowing in his hand, and at the same time Sasuke used his pupil power to attract this force like Shibai. In the next second, the purple light chakra suddenly saw terrifying energy fluctuations erupting. And this wave of power gave Sasuke a feeling that it completely surpassed the tailed beast chakra, the immortal chakra, and even the chakra formed by the fusion of the two. It is also far inferior to the power of Zigwang chakra. Why does pupil power have to be used to arouse its true power? This question is worth thinking about. Shibahu said before that this chakra is called God's chakra. Since it is God's chakra, why does it need pupil power to attract it? Shibai didn't expect Sasuke to ask this question. He smiled. Since you asked, then it doesn't matter if I tell you. It's very simple, our Otsutsuki family is going to be a family of gods. What do you think we rely on to become gods? The core expression of the power of blood lies in these eyes. Saying that, Shibai pointed to Sasuke's eyes. Anyone who has eyes with this special power can be said to have the eyes of God. The power of chakra, the god, is not something ordinary people can control. Even the Otsutsuki clan, how can they be stimulated if they don't rely on the power of the eye of God? That's how it came. Although the Otsutsuki family is not a real god, they aim to become gods. And their capital is their eyes. Perhaps the body has not completely become a god, but the eyes have already opened the door of God first. Only by relying on the power of the eyes can the power called chakra of God be fully exerted. Sasuke nodded. If that's the case, I probably understand. Said Shiba and looked at Sasuke. Although you know how to use its real power, you are still not my opponent, Uchiha Sasuke. Do you really not consider my previous proposal? Hearing this, Sasuke still shook his head. I prefer to be alone. Speaking of a sudden moment, a purple streamer swept across and rushed towards Shibahu. This time Shibahu raised his hand to open the silver light barrier, but there was an astonishing roar. The terrifying shock wave visible to the naked eye erupted instantly in space. Shibai flew backwards directly and quickly. The distance of hundreds of meters was covered in almost an instant. Although Shibahu stopped, and he was not injured. But there was already a hint of shock in the eyes that looked up at Sasuke. He didn't expect that Sasuke had just learned to control the chakra of God, and his power was so terrifying. Do you still think so? Suddenly Sasuke appeared behind Shibai, with one hand covered with purple light chakra, while the lightning diffused and wrapped around the outside. Since it is not enough to wrap the thunderbolt with the purple light chakra, then wrap the purple light chakra with the thunderbolt. The combination of the two forces produced a thunderous blow in an instant. Not only did Shibahu fail to resist directly, but his entire body was instantly sent flying. Thunder and lightning spread wildly on his back, and at the same time, the purple light chakra ruthlessly tore his body apart. In the next second, Sasuke raised his hand to make a seal. This is an attempt, and Sasuke intends to try to see what kind of power will erupt even if a small part of the purple light chakra is integrated into ninjutsu. Fire style, fire dragon explosion technique. The flames that spread suddenly swept out from Sasuke's mouth. However, the flame with a slight purple light already looked extremely unusual. Barely holding his body, Shibai turned his head and unfolded the silver barrier, looking at the engulfing flames. He couldn't help but gasp. As for the chakra of God, people with different powers should also have different talents. For example, he is very good at changing the chakra of God, so he can control this chakra to transform into different shapes and attack or defend with different postures. But Gyushi is not. Like Sasuke in front of him, Gyushi is good at using the 100 carats of God to integrate it into other attacks. Directly produce changes in energy. And Sasuke said just now that he seems to have a strong talent in shape change, but he is not weak in nature transformation at all. How can this be? How can one person be gifted in both ways of using it at the same time? If it is said that he is gifted in form and nature, then is the use of traits also. While he was thinking, Sasuke has already started another ninjutsu. Lightning style, extreme speed. For a sudden moment, purple lightning covered Sasuke's whole body. Then Sasuke stared at Shibai's direction and just raised his hand. Immediately, a large piece of purple thunder appeared in an instant, and then a terrifying thunder pool was formed in an instant, trapping Shibai in it. Then Sasuke's movements became even faster, and the purple light chakra condensed into a series of spikes, sweeping towards the opponent directly from all directions. It would be very bad if Shibai was hit. It seems that today we can only come here temporarily. Shibai thought to himself, staring at Sasuke in the distance. The boy with pervert talent. Want to go? Do you think you can get away? Although each Otsutsuki can basically manipulate the space and directly open the channel of the space to leave one place directly to another. But Sasuke can also open the space channel opened by the opponent again, and follow the opponent. It is basically impossible to escape. But Shibahu didn't seem to care much, just smiled. If you dare to chase after me, then you can try. After speaking, the channel of space was opened directly, and Shibaju's figure disappeared instantly. Sasuke frowned. Is this trying to lure himself to seek a certain place? Even so, Sasuke is not afraid. Just when Sasuke was about to follow the opponent's space passage, suddenly a terrifying force came. Sasuke felt that all his chakra were disturbed for a moment. Sasuke turned his head abruptly. There was nothing behind him, and there were no enemies around at all. Where did that force just now come from? The current Sasuke is very different. Who is it? Who did it to him? Who exactly? That power seems to be the power of the pupil, purely relying on the power of the pupil to disturb all the chakras of oneself. Such an existence is too scary. At the moment of Murin, Sasuke even started to feel the cold sweat on his back. And at this time, Shibai was in another space. I glanced at the ancient style in front of me. That kid, the talent is indeed terrifying. The use of the chakra of God seems to be natural. No. He learned it by watching you. Gyushi said lightly, and Shibahu also sighed. Even so, that kid's strength is indeed too amazing. Talent is indeed unpredictable, but now that there is such an existence, then we may be able to break through to a higher dimension. Hearing that, Shibai nodded. That's right. He has already learned how to use the chakra of God. The next thing is to see when his divine power will explode _ye. The old-fashioned smile seems to be looking forward to the complete evolution of Sasuke's power. At that time, he also really wanted to see what kind of heaven-defying ability such a talented clansman would give birth to. If the opponent's ability is really that powerful, then I don't mind taking the opponent's calendar area. On the contrary, it can be regarded as a help to recruit the other party and go to another dimension together. At this moment, Sasuke was still in space for a long time and couldn't recover. Where did the pupil power that exploded at that moment come from? Hitomi power. It was able to do such a thing. Just relying on the power of the pupil can disrupt the operation of chakra in his body. Now, the traces of Shibai's space movement have disappeared. It is also impossible for him to find out where the other party went. He could only helplessly watch the other party leave. But this battle is not without gains. Lieutenant Commander already knows the correct way to use Zigwang chakra. Relying on Sasuke's current strength and pupil power, the combat power can instantly soar to a level. In terms of pupil power, it seems that there is indeed a way to strengthen it. Sasuke felt ashamed of the pupil power just now. There are actually people in this world who can suppress themselves in terms of pupil power, so it seems that Gyugoyu's Sharingan is not enough at all. I don't know if the Sharingan of Juguyu can continue to evolve. And the power needed for evolution naturally cannot get around the power of blood. That Otsutsuki just now has been emphasizing one thing, and that is the power of blood. If this is the case, then maybe many fusions of more bloodlines may be able to strengthen Sharingan's pupil power again. Even more powerful pupil techniques can be derived. At the same time, Sasuke always felt that he might not have released the power of purple light chakra in the true sense. Just like the Otsutsuki just now, his silver-white chakra can change its form freely, and its attack and defense are very powerful. Even truth-seeking balls can be broken easily. There should be other abilities hidden in it, but the opponent didn't use it just now. Sasuke couldn't help clenching his fists at the thought. Ready to return to Ninja World. And this time in space not far from the moon. Two figures slowly emerged. These two were not Shibai and Koji, but two other Otsutsuki. Finally here, a member of the Otsutsuki clan appeared with a red light fishing rod in his hand and the red light fish on his waist. There is no need to guess what he looks like. He is Otsutsuki Urashiki, who has finally come to this era under the influence of chaos. And the person next to him is the guy who just spoke. It seems that Heppu's style seems to be somewhat imaginative, but it is a unicorn. There is still a difference between the Otsutsuki family with one horn and two horns. The double-horned Otsutsuki is mostly good at using energy, while the single-horned Otsutsuki is usually strong in physical combat and other combats. What did you say? Finally here. It seems that we just passed through something because of the influence of some force. Pu Shi didn't quite understand what happened just now, and why suddenly Ju appeared in another place when he was fine. And Otsutsuki beside him smiled. This is the place I saw at that time. Sure enough, only by giving my power to you can I truly come to this place. This is a time point full of infinite possibilities. When we come here, we may be able to break through the barriers of dimensions and reach another dimension just like the ancestors of Otsutsuki once did. I was a little surprised when I said Pushi, is what you said true? The other parties smiled, of course. Pushi is also a little excited now. If that's the case, then that would be great. There are not many Otsutsuki left in this world, and I don't want to stay in this world any longer. Urashi turned to look at the guy beside him. Master Longshi, let's start. What should I do next so that I can have enough strength to break through the barrier of dimensions as you said? Hearing this, Longshi smiled, don't worry, you'll know soon. The eyes of the dragon form turned into the red six-hook jade Rinnegan. The power of time is like a river, rapidly appearing and blowing around his body. And the long river of time is flowing, and the dragon style is using this power to watch everything in this era. Although it is impossible to see the past that is too long, and the future that is too long. But the part that can be seen has already made the dragon style completely excited. 90% of the remaining Otsutsuki in this world have gathered in this world. It seemed that the two of them were the last group to come. Now it can be said that in the universe, excluding the last group, other Otsutsuki have gathered in the ninja world. This may also be the last chance for the remaining Otsutsuki. If I miss this opportunity, I'm afraid I won't be able to break through the dimension. At this moment, Pushi and Longshi are going to the ninja world to find out what happened. And Sasuke also returned to the ninja world, and at the same time sensed Kimimara's chakra, ready to go to Kimimaro. On the other side, after Naruto learned about Jiraiya from Shigego, immediately, the whole person is completely unable to sit still. In Hokage's office, everyone was silent when they saw Naruto, who was losing his composure. Naruto looks like this now, but it doesn't look like what 6th Hokage should be like at all. Even people like first generation are curious. Who is this ninja called Jiraiya? Is he strong? Powerful? Shikamaru stood up and answered the question. Shodai, this is not a question of being strong or not, but Jiraiya-sama, as Konoha's master ninja, the strength is naturally beyond doubt. Maybe not as good as Shodai, but still a real cage-level ninja. At the same time, he is also the mentor of 6th generation. Now that first generation understands, it's no wonder Naruto seems to have lost his composure. All of a sudden, I couldn't hold back my tears. No wonder. Now the first generation can also understand. The old mentor reappeared, no one can be peaceful. What's more, it seems that this person named Jiraiya has a great influence on Naruto. Shikamaru, I leave the affairs of the village to you for the time being. Hearing this, Shikamaru nodded. As Hokage's assistant, he was used to dealing with the affairs of the village when Naruto was away. Although nowadays, many things in the village are very difficult. But he can't handle it. Go and bring Master Jiraiya back. Hearing this, Naruto nodded heavily. Getting to Mount Myoboku was a bit of a hassle for Sasuke, but completely easy for Naruto. Just let the passing frog go back to Mount Myoboku, and then reverse summoning to summon him there. Fukasaku and Tomoma-sama did not have any problems working together. Naruto, do you want to send someone to the country of Uzumaki? Your father, Lord 4th Hokage, didn't you mean to go to the country of the vortex to find your mother who might appear? Hearing this, Naruto didn't know how to judge. His own father doesn't look like the father when he was married and had children. Otherwise, it is impossible to go directly to the country of vortex to look for mother without even returning to the village. But since there is a father, then the mother must be fine. After the two meet, they should understand the situation first, and then make mental preparations to meet their future son. Naruto could probably think of this, so he decided not to bother them. Wait for them to come back by themselves. When they are ready to meet me, they should be back. Before then, there is no need to bother them. After Naruto finished speaking, he also sighed silently. He also wanted to see his parents, but when he thought of his parents, they came here from a time when they were not married. So for them, Naruto is a strange existence, and it is impossible for them to have the same feelings as parents treat their children. Thinking of this, Naruto also felt very painful. But it was too late for Naruto to think for too long. A puff of smoke appeared in the next second, and Naruto had been reversed summoning and left. When he came to Naruto on Mount Myoboku, he didn't expect that he would go there for several days. In the past few days, Konoha will also have a series of major incidents. Mount Myoboku. the place where Naruto practiced Sage Mode before. At this moment, Jiraiya is practicing Sage Mode here, and he has completely made up for the defects left by practicing Sage Mode before. He became the second ninja who perfected Sage Mode after Naruto. Fukasaku looked at the young Jiraiya in front of him. That's right. Jiraiya, I told you that you can do it, but you refuse to work hard, always saying that you have a lot of things to do. Why are you willing to work hard now? The reason why he is willing to work hard now is very simple. He knows that he will die in the future, and he doesn't want to die like this. It is the sole purpose of Jiraiya's hard work. At this time, a figure appeared behind Jiraiya. When Jiraiya noticed the other person, she felt horrible cold sweat all over her body. At the same time, he turned around and kicked the opponent's head quickly. But at the last moment, he withdrew his strength and stopped his legs. Look at the person in front of you. The Hokage imperial robe worn on the body. The young man in front of him is Konoha Hokage of this era, and also his future disciple. Uzumaki Naruto. Jiraiya softly called Naruto's name. And hearing Jiraiya's voice again, Naruto's eyes looked a little moist. All smiles. He looked at the Jiraiya in front of him, although it didn't look like the Jiraiya he remembered. The current Jiraiya is very young, not even much older than herself. But at this age, Jiraiya should be at his peak, and this Jiraiya is also very good. Teacher. I am very happy to see you again, although you may not know me now. Jiraiya at this point in time definitely doesn't know Naruto. But Naruto also knew that Jiraiya probably understood what this place was and why he appeared here. Teacher, do you want to improve your strength and change your own destiny? Hearing this, Jiraiya nodded. He didn't even know what to say to Naruto. Yet heard Jiraiya admit it. Naruto sighed silently. Teacher, at this time, everything you do is useless. Because when the time comes to send you back to your own time point, we will erase all your memories of this era. You will forget everything here. Erase memory? How do you plan to eliminate it? Similar to hypnosis. This kind of ability should not be possible. It's easy to remember. Seeing Jiraiya seemed a little unconvinced. Naruto sighed. Does the teacher know that there is a Uchiha pupil technique called Distinguished Heavenly Gods? Distinguished Heavenly Gods? Jiraiya shook her head. Pupil art Distinguished Heavenly Gods. You can modify other people's memory at will. This is no longer a mere illusion. Hearing this, Jiraiya froze for a moment. Modifying the memory. What a pervert pupil technique this is. Impossible. How can there be such a pupil technique? Even if there is such a pupil technique, I am afraid that it will cost a lot to activate once. That's right. Naruto nodded. I want to activate this pupil technique, and it should be the pupil power that consumes a lot, but my companion Sasuke, his pupil power to cast Distinguished Heavenly Gods is not a problem at all. So in other words, if I practice here, everything I do seems to be in vain? Are you asking me to accept my own fate? Jiraiya's tone became more serious, and Naruto also knew that Jiraiya's favorability with him probably dropped a lot. Teacher, Sasuke said that when you play with time, you will also be played by time. Fate. After the change, it will cause a series of terrible chain reactions. It even threatens the whole world, so I don't want to die, let alone be killed by my disciples. Suddenly Jiraiya spoke. This kind of Jiraiya made Naruto a little strange, completely different from his wife. But Jiraiya is not wrong either. Want to live, what sin? What's wrong with not wanting to die? That's right. The wrong thing is that Jiraiya, who belongs to the past, should not know when she will die in the future. Naruto looked at Jiraiya in front of him, and sighed softly. He wanted to say something but didn't know how to say it. Little Jiraiya, birth, old age, sickness and death are the most normal things in the world. What will happen to you in the future? You can't change it. Can. Jiraiya heard Shima's words, and immediately retorted. Why not? People's lives are controlled by themselves, why not? Hearing Jiraiya's words, Fukasaku also felt that Jiraiya was different from the Jiraiya he remembered. It's not just age, although it's nothing to look younger. But more importantly, Jiraiya's character made Shima and Fukasaku feel a little strange. It seemed to be a little different from what they remembered. The Jiraiya in my memory doesn't seem to react so strongly when faced with this kind of problem. At this time Naruto also noticed this. He looked at Jiraiya, teacher. Calling Jiraiya of this age as a teacher, Naruto also feels a little strange. Jiraiya also didn't know how to answer. Being called a teacher, and a powerful scary guy, called a teacher makes Jiraiya feel weird. It doesn't matter what the teacher wants to do afterwards. Anyway, Teacher, can you go back to Konoha with me? Jiraiya looks at Naruto. No. No. Unexpectedly, Jiraiya refused. This time Naruto felt even more weird. Staying in Mount Myoboku will make me feel more at ease, and I will continue to practice and become stronger. Get stronger? It seems that Jiraiya at this age is indeed not so easy to easily accept her future destiny. Thinking of this, Naruto didn't know what to say. Konoha still has a lot of things waiting for him, and he can't delay too long. In that case, stay on Mount Myoboku, come back anytime if you want. I welcome the teacher to come to Konoha to have a look. The future Konoha should be better than the teacher imagined. As he spoke, Naruto glanced at Fukasaku and Shima, and the two saw some hidden meaning in Naruto's gaze. It's been a long time since I visited Mount Myoboku to see the two of us. Little Naruto, come here. You and I catch up a little too. After speaking, Fukasaku pretended to show Naruto around. And Naruto left alone. After staying away from Jiraiya, Fukasaku said, Little Naruto, I don't know if you have noticed, this Jiraiya seems to be a little different from the Jiraiya I remember. No, the same? Of course it's different. Teacher Jiraiya at this age is completely different from what he remembers. It's really different, but it's not a surprise that Mr. Jiraiya is like this at this age. Saying that, Naruto began to sigh, and Fukasaku looked at Naruto with a serious face. No, that's not all I meant. Fukasaku jumps in front of Naruto, although he looks like Jiraiya can't be wrong, and also has a contract with Mount Myoboku. But I feel like he's not the Jiraiya I know at all. As he spoke, Fukasaku gave the most convincing proof. Your teacher, although Jiraiya has a good talent, but he practiced Sage Mode, and the last one has not been perfect. That's why he retains a part of his baby status. And now this Jiraiya has overcome even the last step. Hearing this, Naruto still doesn't understand. At this age, Mr. Jiraiya, he came to this era and practiced hard to complete the last step. It seems that it is not difficult to understand. Fukasaku, however, didn't think so. I mean, he might be a good Jiraiya, but not a Jiraiya of our world. Hearing this, Naruto was stunned for a moment. What Fukasaku-sama means is. Sukuru sighed, as if lamenting why he still didn't understand. After experiencing so much, Naruto, do you think there is a possibility that this world is not unique, and our time is not unique? Maybe there is the same world, exactly the same people, but with different character. Naruto suddenly took a deep breath. Master Fukasaku, you mean a parallel world? He bowed his head and thought carefully. It is indeed possible. Chaos can even affect the past and the future. Why can't it affect the parallel world? If there is really a parallel world, then the Jiraiya in front of me is probably a person from the parallel world. He is not his teacher in this world. Parallel world. These 4 words made Naruto think of many things immediately. If it's a parallel world, then if the chaos continues, it's not just ninjas from the past that will appear. There may even be the same person from different parallel worlds. They have different experiences and become different people. Thinking of this, Naruto suddenly felt that something was wrong. The longer the chaos drags on, the more dangerous the world becomes. No. I must return to Konoha immediately. Naruto didn't know how to digest this news for a while, and now he is going to discuss with Shikamaru and Sage of 6 Paths. You go. Fukasaku was just a guess, but seeing Naruto's expression, Fukasaku suddenly understood how serious this matter was. This is not just something that can be treated as if it didn't happen just by talking casually. Naruto cancelled the reverse summoning status and reappeared directly in Konoha's office. At this moment, Shikamaru was a little surprised. Naruto, did you come back alone? At this moment Naruto is trying to find Shikamaru. Shikamaru. I said if, just if, you said, is there a possibility that the people who appear in our world not only come from the past, but can even make people from the parallel world? Parallel world. Shikamaru, who was busy processing documents, suddenly raised his head when he heard this. Look at Naruto. What did you say? At this moment, somewhere in Konoha, a person quietly embedded in Konoha and came to the residence of the Uchiha clan, looking at so many people of the Uchiha clan. The other parties smiled, and suddenly felt like home. He looked at the people in front of him, and suddenly saw a girl walking through the crowd of the Uchiha clan. Who is the other party asking for? Seeing this figure, the man froze in place. The mask on his face was directly grabbed off. Lin. This person is Obito. Obito, who came to this era, after figuring out his own situation, immediately planned to go back to Konoha to have a look. Because he came, Lin may also appear in this world due to chaos. Then he is ready to see Lin again. Lin, work. However, I didn't expect to see it so soon. Originally, he thought that at least he would have to search hard, but now, it's really great. At this moment, Obito didn't even bother to hide his breath. When he didn't hide his aura at all, many Uchiha ninjas in the entire Uchiha residence instantly felt the ugly aura. After all, out of nowhere, a weird chakra wave popped up that I had never felt before. But any ninja of Jonin level will feel it clearly. Not to mention that among the Uchiha clan, there are many Uchiha clan patriarchs. Almost instantly, all the chiefs of Uchiha burst out of the window. Jumped directly to the surroundings of Lin. At this moment, Obito has activated Kamui. The ripples of space slowly emerge, under the surprised eyes of all the patriarchs. Obito, who appeared out of thin air, grabbed B. Lin's hand and embraced in his arms. Lin. One word. One word. Obito's voice seemed to have passed through time and experienced countless hardships. Finally, I was able to call her name again in front of Lin. Lin was also taken aback for a moment. Although she didn't quite recognize the person in front of her, she was very clear about the chakra fluctuations of the other party. Obito. The two embraced in the eyes of everyone. But in an instant, the patriarchs of Uchiha frowned. Especially the patriarchs of modern times. Fugaku knew about Obito, but he didn't expect that Obito would be able to open Sharingan in the future. And shouldn't Obito be dead long ago? Even if it was because of the confusion, the Belt King who appeared in this era should not be more than 12 years old. But Obito in front of him didn't look like he was 12 years old at all. No matter how you say it, he must be 15 or 16 years old. And the chakra fluctuations on the body are very weird, not only the Sharingan chakra fluctuations unique to the Uchiha family, even the chakra fluctuations of the rival Senju family. What the hell does this happen? I finally see you, Lin. Saying that, Obito smiled, but this place is not a place where he and Lin can be alone. Kamui activated again, and Obito and Lin disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Fugaku, however, frowned. Although I don't know what's going on with Obito, but I absolutely can't just let the king go away like this. However, Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil technique by the opponent just now surprised him. It actually meant to control the space. Beyond the leaves, in a certain forest. Obito appeared here, looking at Lin in front of him. Lin. I finally see you again. Great, great. Speaking of which, Obito was almost on the verge of tears of joy. However, Lin, who was hugged by him, was also very happy, and she probably knew what happened after she came to this world. At the same time, she also learned of her own death, but Lin was not afraid of death, she just wanted to see Obito and Kakashi again. Instead of going to Kakashi first, she came to the residence of the Uchiha clan and wanted to find King Shaw. Unexpectedly, she was found. Lin, Obito, you are fine. You must have suffered a lot from the way you look. Although the current Obito seems to be much older than her age. But none of that matters. Just to be able to see Obito again. Obito shook his head. No. It's not bitter. As long as I can see you, everything is worth it. As Obito held Lin's small face in his hands, the two smiled at the same time. And this time, along with a black space channel, Fugaku appeared here untimely. Obito was very surprised, and immediately blocked Lin in front. And when he saw that the person who appeared was Fugaku, Obito was relieved. But also very surprised. Unexpectedly, Fugaku, the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, owns the Mangekyo Sharingan. And he has mastered the ability similar to space teleportation like himself. However, Fugaku's space channel dragon is very different from his ancestors. Uchiha Obito. Fugaku looked at Obito in front of him. Why did you leave suddenly? Since I've returned to Konoha and Uchiha, it's okay to stay in Uchiha. Fugaku doesn't know about Obito yet, and always regards Obito as an ordinary member of the Mechia clan who came to this era due to confusion. And Obito is wary of Fugaku. I didn't expect you, the patriarch, to have a Mangekyo Sharingan. If Uchiha Fugaku owns the Mangekyo Sharingan, why didn't he escape during Uchiha's genocide night? When Obito was puzzled, he looked at Fugaku in front of him. Sorry, I just wanted some time alone with Rin. Hearing this, Fugaku nodded. It's not a problem at all. Well, you want to meet your girlfriend and we won't stop it. Since you have Mangekyo Sharingan, you must attend the next clan meeting. Join? Clan meeting. Hearing this, Obito understood it. Obviously, the other party doesn't know what he will do in the ninja world in the future. No, Patriarch, I'm not interested in those meetings. You will be interested, and you should also have something you care about. As he said that, Fugaku glanced at Lin. Since you have something you care about, you don't want to lose her again one day, right? Of course not. No matter what, I will never lose Lin again. Obito spoke with certainty. However, Fugaku smiled, but, what you have now is only temporary. When the chaos ends one day, everyone will be sent back to the original point in time, and even their memories will be erased. At that time, you may be powerless to resist alone. Was sent back? The memory will also be erased. Wouldn't that mean taking Lin away from her who she finally saw again now? No matter who it is, no matter what the reason, I will never let that happen. I'm afraid it's impossible to deal with it with your own strength. Saying that, Fugaku glanced sideways at Obito. If you don't want to lose those, go to the Uchiha resident. Hearing this, Obito was stunned for a moment. What does the Patriarch mean? My son, Uchiha Sasuke, has gone to fix something that will send us all back. At the same time, he can cast distinguished heavenly gods at will, permanently modifying other people's memories. If you don't want to lose this girl in your arms, you don't want to be sent back and be separated from her again, then follow me back to Uchiha. Feel free to use distinguished heavenly gods. What a joke. How is this possible? But looking at Fugaku's appearance, it doesn't seem like a joke. If this is the case, then he will never let Sasuke do such a thing. At the same time, Obito probably understands that he doesn't want to lose Lin, and the patriarchs of Uchiha, and the people of Uchiha also don't want to lose something. So they want to stop Uchiha Sasuke? Back to Uchiha. Obito didn't expect that he would be able to hear this sentence one day. And it was the patriarch of the Uchiha clan who said this to him, which made Obito feel uneasy for a while. There are only two things that Obito could never let go of. One is Lin, and the other is the family. But it is a pity that the former Uchiha clan was exterminated, and what Obito can do is to collect the eyes of the family members. At the same time, secretly preparing revenge on Danzo. When Sasuke and Danzo fought against the bridge, on the one hand Obito wanted to temper Sasuke with Danzo's hand. On the other hand, I also hope to see with my own eyes that the people who were killed by the Uchiha clan were buried by the Uchiha clan. This is also a causal cycle. And now in this new era, the Uchiha clan has not been completely wiped out. This situation also makes Obito feel very relieved. After all, in this situation, even if only a small part of the Uchiha clan survived, already made Obito happy. At least it doesn't feel like being alone anymore. Having families and no family are completely two concepts. Obito glanced at Lin in his arms. Lin also said, Obito, let's go back, go back. Does Lin also want to go back? Also Lin lives in Konoha, she naturally doesn't want to leave Konoha. Then take Lin away by yourself and let her run around with you, don't you even have a home? It doesn't seem like a bad thing for the current situation to return to Konoha. After all, going back to Konoha can provide Lin with a relatively safe environment. At the same time, the Uchiha clan in front of them should also not want to be sent back to their own time just like themselves. So they will find a way to stop all this. If they leave, will they be sent back in the end? It depends on destiny. Once Sasuke really refuses to make any changes and must send back all the people who do not belong to this era, then he will definitely not be able to escape. No matter in the ends of the earth, it is impossible to escape. Good. After making up his mind, Obito followed Fugaku back to Konoha's Uchiha clan residence. Returning to the Uchiha family, Obito also feels very different. Surrounded by people who write the same as I keep. Although a large number of people may not be known to Obito, it is much better to look at each other's eyes. Obito, come with me. Lin, you can temporarily settle her in your residence. Fugaku could see how much Obito valued this woman. But now is not the time to talk about it. Yes. Follow Fugaku towards the head house of the Uchiha clan. When I came here, I looked at the patriarchs from different eras and were talking. Now my Uchiha clan can use for fighting ninjas, Jonin 421, Chunin 1200, and the rest are genin. Such a number of ninjas, even in Sengoku's era, will be a deadly force. But now, Konoha is just an ordinary ninja army and can reach 2 million. A patriarch shook his head helplessly. The population of this era seems to be much larger than theirs. This is inevitable. Naruto has worked so hard to maintain peace for nearly 2 decades. During this time, too many new generation of ninjas have emerged. At the same time, the ninja world is peaceful and there is no war, let alone the death of people because of the chaos of war. Even robbers are much less. In peacetime, there is much less soil for these robbers to exist. The population has naturally increased a lot. Although the number of our ninjas is not comparable to the ninjas that Konoha's village can gather, our ninjas' fighting power is not comparable to those of Konoha's ninjas. That's not bad. The ninjas of the Uchiha clan, no matter in that era, are all battle-hardened existences. Whether it is the first generation, second generation period, or third generation, fourth generation period, not to mention those Uchiha clan ninjas from troubled times. Comparing the two, the gap in combat power is not even a little bit. And in this case, don't underestimate the fighting power of the Uchiha clan. The number of ninjas we can use for battle now is about 5,000. At the same time, because of the chaos, people from the Uchiha clan came to this era one after another. The chief of the third generation has sent people to search for Uchiha's clansmen, and all clansmen who have come to this era will be brought back. Conservatively, with this increase in the number of people, it should be possible to successfully break through to 10,000 people. By the time we have ninjas capable of fighting, they should be over 7,000 expensive. The Uchiha clan, except for a very small number of ethnic groups, basically as long as they are male, they will definitely endure. Listening to the issues discussed by the heads of the Uchiha clan, Obito already sensed that something was wrong. This seems to be the rhythm of wanting to start a war with Konoha. Although there are a lot of people in the Uchiha clan now, it is not possible to let these people's hearts swell to such a degree. Want to start a war with Konoha? Do you want to seek death? His name is Uchiha Obito, and he is also the one who opened Mangekyo Sharingan among my Uchiha clan. He's a child of my time. Fugaku introduced Obito, and all the patriarchs were a little surprised when they heard Mangekyo Sharingan. How do you feel that there are so many people who have awakened Mangekyo Sharingan under Fugaku, the patriarch? This surprised him. Patriarch Fugaku, it seems that you not only have two excellent sons, but also a group of excellent clansmen. I heard that there is another Uchiha Shisui. What is the name of the Mangekyo Sharingan pupil technique he possesses called Distinguished Heavenly Gods? I heard that it is the strongest illusion, and the fourth Mizukage of Lien village is controlled by him. Uchiha Shisui. Obito froze for a moment, even Uchiha Shisui. Fugaku smiled. Chaos befalls, we all showed up, why can't Shisui? Saying that, Fugaku's face became a little uncomfortable. However, according to the people in Konoha, Sasuke wants to send us back to the original world, and one of the most important abilities is Distinguished Heavenly Gods. He wants to use Distinguished Heavenly Gods to modify all of our memories and make us forget what happened here. To say that Fugaku was fine before, but after seeing Sarana, Fugaku didn't want to forget his lovely granddaughter. At the same time, the current Konoha and the current Uchiha clan also make Fugaku like it very much. Looking at the current Uchiha clan, it seems to have returned to the glory days of the Uchiha clan. If such a scene is returned to his own time, then he will never be able to see it again. Distinguished Heavenly Gods. Why did Sasuke use Distinguished Heavenly Gods? Did he get Shisui's eyes? It's not right. As a member of the Uchiha clan, even if they have other people's eyes, the pupil art will only change, and will not be integrated. Because of the peculiarity of the Uchiha clan. Obito asks the crucial question. At this time, the patriarchs of the Uchiha clan looked at each other. Finally, all eyes were locked on Fugaku, the patriarch of the modern Uchiha clan. This question can only be asked to Fugaku now. And Fugaku glanced at the crowd, wondering if this should be said. But in a blink of an eye, Sasuke's ability is no secret. Many people in this world already know it. It's just that few of the new generation of ninjas know about it. Sighing softly, Fugaku looked at everyone. The reason why Sasuke can use Distinguished Heavenly Gods is simple. Because of Sasuke, he can deprive others of pupil art. Sasuke not only has his own pupil technique, but he also has other people's pupil technique. Saying that, Fugaku glanced at Obito. Your pupil art, Kamui. Sasuke also respond. Shisui's pupil technique, Distinguished Heavenly Gods, was also stripped from Shangshui's eyes by Sasuke. Hear this ability. Everyone couldn't help taking a deep breath. Can deprive others of their pupil technique? This kind of pupil technique is a bit too scary. That is to say, as long as the Uchiha clan awakens Mangekyo Sharingan more people, then Sasuke can theoretically have unlimited pupil skills. Such an existence must be too strong. Is this the secret of Uchiha Sasuke's strength? One of the patriarchs swallowed with lingering fear. However, Fugaku shook his head. No. The reason why Sasuke is really powerful is his talent. Sasuke really has a talent that ordinary people can't match. 5 Escape ninjutsu is in Sasuke's hands, and he can use it casually. And even bloodline boundary, Sasuke was able to develop it. Saying that, Fugaku thought of Sasuke's wood style. The wood style owned by Sasuke is not fused with Hashirama's cells, or deprived from someone else's body. At that time, Sasuke probably hadn't awakened this ability yet. Sasuke. He developed wood style by himself. Develop by yourself, wood style. That is the Senju clan, the blood successor limit of Senju Hashirama, the god of ninjas. Although strictly speaking, Shueiji Jiji is the fusion of 2 kinds of chakra, and then it was engraved into the Minister of Genes. It can only be passed on to the next generation. If the first generation cannot master this ability, then the bloodline of the descendants can also master this power. And Sasuke relied on his own strength too. This is indeed a terrifying talent. Such a terrifying talent and such a terrifying pupil technique. No wonder Sasuke will become the best in the ninja world. The number 1 person in the ninja world today, and even in the future, no one will surpass Uchiha Sasuke. As the patriarchs said, their hearts were boiling with enthusiasm. The Uchiha family has such a peerless genius, and they are really happy from the bottom of their hearts. But the stronger Uchiha Sasuke is, the more troublesome things are for us now. If Uchiha Sasuke's will cannot be changed, then none of us can escape the fate of being sent back in the end. Everyone bowed their heads when they heard this. What we have to do now is to find a way to grab more seats in Konoha's top management. This is not to deal with Konoha, but to keep the Uchiha clan alive. Hearing this, Obito feels a little wrong. These people want to grab more high-level seats, so what is the purpose? To change Sasuke? This has nothing to do with Konoha's high-level seats. You patriarchs, after you do this, it seems that there is no special benefit. It is said that one of the patriarchs looked at Obito. No. For the future, the Uchiha clan can break away from Konoha. Leave? Doesn't breaking away from Konoha mean rebellion? In the history we know, the Uchiha clan has been taking care of Konoha with the Senju clan, but the Senju clan has gone too far. They completely occupied Konoha, but excluded the Uchiha clan. But since Konoha doesn't welcome us, we can find a new place and rebuild a village belonging to Uchiha. The head of the first generation Uchiha clan looked at Obito. We Uchiha will never be inferior, but we don't want to start any war. It is enough to leave Konoha without incident. Hearing this, Obito froze for a moment. There was nothing wrong with this idea. It's okay to not want to stay in Konoha and want to leave Konoha. After all, Uchiha didn't want to stay. What's wrong with leaving? Obito was a little surprised for a while. He thought that these patriarchs wanted to overthrow Konoha and establish a regime belonging to Uchiha. But thinking about it now, the reason why Uchiha hates the Hokage family so much is largely because Uchiha was excluded. The reason for the exclusion is probably the battle between Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. After all, it is the same truth that a rabbit dies like a dog. Uchiha Madara only represents his will, and has nothing to do with the entire Uchiha family. But Uchiha, who was passively implicated, was constantly squeezed out. How could he not have any resentment in his heart? Our plan has only 2 goals. One is to change the will of Uchiha Sasuke, and the other is to break away from Konoha and establish the country of Uchiha, or the fire ninja village belonging to Uchiha. Such a dream made Obito not know what to say for a while. It always seems a bit pathetic. Is this what the Uchiha clan wanted in the first place? It turned out to be such a simple 2 things. But in the huge ninja world, finding a place to settle down is not so simple. Uchiha is out of the plan, it's almost certain. Fugaku and half of the patriarchs are in charge of finding a way to change Uchiha Sasuke's will. The other patriarchs are trying to find ways to occupy more high-level seats in Konoha, so that one day in the future, when the Uchiha clan leaves Konoha, they will not encounter too much opposition. The patriarch looked at everyone. We don't care about time, age, or bloodline. Uchiha Sasuke, General Sun Qian Duan, is the ancestor of all Uchiha. If we can't change Uchiha Sasuke's will in the end, we will leave as many Uchiha blood as possible to revive Uchiha. Eat when the Uchiha clan is thinking about how to get rid of Konoha. On the other side, the country. In the country of Vortex that has been destroyed, Konoha of the new era built the city of Vortex here, on the one hand, to commemorate the people of the country of Vortex. On the other hand, it is to develop and utilize the land of the country of Vortex. And as the chaos descended, a large number of people from the country of Vortex appeared here. Kushina looked at the first Hokage's wife, Mito. There are also successive patriarchs of the Uzumaki clan. Facts have proved that it is not a wise choice to attach yourself to the nation of fire. My country of Vortex controls this powerful sealing technique and is watched by everyone, but we chose Konoha alone, which is a big taboo. Perhaps for the country of Vortex, the real way out should be to be a neutral country like the country of Iron. A neutral country. Kushina thinks this method seems to be good. After all, if it becomes a neutral country, then the country of the Vortex may be able to avoid repeating the same mistakes. Kushina and I go back to Konoha. Fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato has been following Kushina's side, and he wants to bring Kushina back to Konoha. But now Kushina cares more about his people. There was nothing Kushina could do to destroy the country of Uzumaki, but now the tribe needs her, the Uzumaki clan needs her. How can they leave at this time? What Konoha? Go to the country of fire. The Uzumaki family has paid so much for Konoha in the land of fire. But in the end, when the country of Uzumaki was destroyed, Konoha also had no choice. Kushina doesn't blame anyone, but now she can't abandon her people. No. Minato, I want to stay here, I want to be with my clan. This time, I will not let the Uzumaki clan be destroyed. Kushina said, looking at Mito beside him. Also is the Uzumaki family sent to Konoha. Uzumaki Mito is the wife of Lord First Hokage. And now, isn't he still choosing to stay in the Vortex country? Even Mito was impatient when he heard Konoha's name. Especially seeing Minato, it's not that she has any opinions on Minato, but that she has come to this era, but First Hokage Senju Hashirama never thought of coming to her. As a woman married to Konoha First Hokage, Mito is very sad now. Especially when Minato came to find Kushina and himself. But no one cares. Why is my wife worthless in the eyes of first generation? Or in other words, Konoha is more important than himself in his eyes. Although such a comparison, rationality tells her that she cannot do this, but women are not as rational as men. Coupled with the fact that someone like Minato is here to compare with Hashirama, it immediately made Mito even more angry. Senju Hashirama, you don't come to me, do you? If you care about your Konoha so much, then stay with your Konoha. I also have my country, my people to take care of. Mito-sama, now in our Uzumaki country, what should the Uzumaki clan do? The whole ninja world is very peaceful now, and the four major powers seem to want to join forces to deal with Konoha. Are we going to stand on Konoha's side again? Hearing this, Mito thought about it. If it was changed, she would have persuaded Uzumaki to form an alliance with Konoha before. But now, knowing the history, the Uzumaki country was finally wiped out, and the Uzumaki clan was also wiped out. The remaining clansmen are all lingering in the ninja world, and they don't even dare to use the surname Uzumaki openly. The only clan member is the 6th Hokage of Konoha, Uzumaki Naruto. But Uzumaki Naruto is just one person. What about the other Uzumaki clan? No. We won't go back to Konoha. Compared to forming an alliance with Konoha, we might as well rely on ourselves, and we will do better. Even more secure. Mito, looking at a group of people, the patriarchs of the Uzumaki clan, their strength is not weaker than their own. But now they are all willing to obey her orders. Because she is the princess of the Uzumaki clan. Not only people from the Uzumaki family, but also a very powerful Uzumaki bloodline. The sealing power of her sealing technique is amazing. Then we won't go back to Konoha, we Uzumaki clan, we want to rebuild Uzumaki country. Watching these people make a decision, Minato is very helpless now. Kushina, you don't plan to go back to Konoha with me? Our son, Uzumaki Naruto, as Konoha's 6th Hokage. Hearing this, Kushina froze for a moment. Another reason for her reluctance to go back to Konoha is because of Naruto. This person is my future son, but now I am not pregnant at all, and I can't understand how it feels to be a mother. At the same time, the other party should be about the same age as himself. Having a son who is about the same age as her own makes this feeling even more unacceptable to Kushina. No. I won't go back. He is the child born to me in the future, and now I belong to the country of Vortex. Kushina refused again, and Minato was helpless. If she doesn't go back, will she leave Kushina here alone? Naturally it was impossible, so Minato also had to stay. Next, we will master the Vortex city and rebuild the Vortex country. Then, to the entire ninja world Uzumaki, the country of my vortex, will become a neutral country, will not ally with any country, and everyone in the country will not provide any help to other countries. Mito's words resounded over the entire vortex city. At this moment, Naruto returned to Konoha, thinking about Fukasaku's words. Teacher of parallel world. If this teacher is not his real teacher, he is from a parallel world. And what about the others? Could they all be from parallel worlds? And his father has gone to the country of Vortex to find his mother. Naruto was a little disappointed when he met his teacher, but he shouldn't be disappointed when he meets his parents. Naruto, who wants to go to the Uzumaki country, knows that it is not good to leave Konoha with a lot of fanfare. I can only go quietly, and at the same time, bring Boruto and Shoukui with me, so that my parents can see their future grandson and granddaughter. Although these memories will be erased later, they must be very happy to see them now. Naruto has a great idea, but the actual situation may make Naruto very disappointed. Naruto decided to secretly go to the country of the vortex to take a look. After all, with his speed, he could go there and come back within a day. In this way, there shouldn't be any problems. After all, Day still has Shikamaru and the others. Naruto knows that the current situation in the ninja world is tense, but in this case, Naruto can't do anything. If you really want to do something, you have to find the so-called shell organizations as soon as possible. It seems that only by eliminating them can the problems of the next 5 major countries be better resolved. Now, Sasuke, who returned to the ninja world, was about to study Zigwang Chakra, but Kimimaro suddenly appeared. Came back. Where did Tsunade go? Hearing this, Kimimaro glanced at Sasuke. Master Sasuke, the chaos this time seems to have brought about more problems than imagined. Saying that, Kimimaro told Sasuke what he saw. The Senju clan doesn't even want to go back. At the same time, Chong-Woo also came back from Konoha. Master Sasuke, the Uchiha clan of Konoha, it is not accurate to say that many ninjas from the past to the present, only a relatively small part, feel that they should return to normal. As for the remaining people, I'm afraid they really want to stay in this era. Hearing this, Sasuke was stunned for a moment. That is to say, if they really want to send these people back, then they are likely to resist fiercely. Even I have to face all the people who will come to this era because of chaos. Didn't expect it to turn out like this. Even Sasuke doesn't quite understand it now. What are these people thinking? Wouldn't it be good to go back to their time? What's good in this new era? Don't they want their family members, or relatives, etc.? Thinking of this, Sasuke was very puzzled. However, Sasuke probably overlooked a problem, that is, at the original incident point, the loved ones they missed. It will also appear in the new era. Although there may be a big difference in age, as long as it is such a person, it is enough. Sasuke smiled lightly. Even so, he still has to send back those who don't belong to this era. After all, the beginning of the chaos is because of oneself, so the end of the chaos must also come from oneself. Is the Uchiha clan also planning? Sasuke asked suddenly. On the other hand, Chong-Woo's expression was a little uncomfortable at the moment, and he didn't know whether he should say it or not. But looking at Sasuke's appearance, he still sighed helplessly. When I went back to the village, I saw the Uchiha patriarchs who were planning something. What's up? Is it another rebellion? If this is really the case, Sasuke will be very angry. No matter what era the Uchiha clan will do this, then he will have to bear his anger. Thinking of this, some anger could be seen in Sasuke's eyes. Seeing Sasuke like this, Chong-Woo sighed helplessly. They seem to want to get away from Muto. Leave Konoha. Sasuke froze for a moment. He didn't expect these guys to plan such a thing. Why? It seems that because of knowing the history, the patriarchs of Uchiha felt that Konoha, which was jointly established with the Senju clan, did not like the Uchiha clan very much. So they felt it would be better to leave Uchiha completely than to do so. After talking about it, I thought Sasuke would get angry. Sasuke, however, immediately regained his composure. If you just want to get rid of Konoha, it's nothing. It can only be said that the patriarchs of the Uchiha clan are very courageous. And also a guy with a temper. But most people in the Uchiha family seem to be like this, which is also very normal. Since this is the case, don't worry about them for the time being. If you want to get rid of Konoha, get away. But this kind of thing is actually meaningless. In the end, they will be sent back to their era by themselves. Sasuke thought for a moment. Although it feels like the development of things, many things have exceeded his expectations. But the key issue now is the plow. After the plow is repaired, All those who are in the way can be sent back. That way there won't be so much trouble. Thinking of this, Sasuke, both of you and I will find traces of the Otsutsuki clan as soon as possible. From the beginning of the chaos to now, I believe that there have been people from the Otsutsuki clan who have come to this era. The Shibai that appeared on the moon is the best proof. He wasn't even the Otsutsuki he knew. In this case, if there is no other Otsutsuki clan, Sasuke himself would not believe it. Yes. Master Sasuke, the two answered at the same time. And when Sasuke decided to find the people of the Otsutsuki family first, and completely repair the artifact plow. Meanwhile, the land of the winds, Sanagakure. When the 5 major countries are frantically calling more ninja troops. Task. I still have to continue, but most of the tasks in the past were released in Konoha. Even in the end, due to too many tasks, Konoha couldn't do it and would assign it to other villages. And now the competition among the 5 major nations has begun. For things like missions, those that belong to the Fire Nation belong to the Fire Nation. The tasks of other countries will naturally return to their countries. In the past, these people who were used to posting missions to Konoha were forced to stay in their own country. They even have a little distrust of the ninja village in their own country. Are you really okay? Our tasks used to be handed over to Konoha to perform. This is a B-rank mission. It's not that I look down on the ninjas of Sanagakure, but you really didn't have a few B-level tasks to do before, and there should be very few ninjas with experience in this field. The rich man from the Kingdom of Wind came to Sanagakure and looked at the ninja who was in charge of the task, and the other party looked happy. It immediately made him feel uneasy. And the ninja who heard this happened to be Gaara's adopted son, Shinshi. He stepped forward and looked at the other party. Don't worry, we Sanagakure will definitely complete this mission perfectly. I'll be in charge of your commission. Looking at Shinshi in front of him, the other party doesn't know that Shinshi is the adopted son of 5th Hokage, but just thinks that Shinshi is young. And Sanagakure actually entrusted such an important task to a brat. Even more worried. Give my mission to a child like you, is there no one left in Sanagakure? What the other party said made Shinshi very angry. Age should not be the only criterion for measuring strength. The strongest ninja in the ninja world, Uchiha Sasuke, is only 15 or 16 years old. Hearing this, the other party laughed. That's the strongest ninja, can you compare with the strongest? Shinshi didn't speak, but silently accepted the task without giving too much explanation. However, the mission this time is to escort a batch of items to the border of the Land of Wind, and then hand them over to the caravan on the Land of Fire for sale in the Land of Fire. Although the 5 major powers are now at war with each other, they may fight at any time. But business has not stopped. The war has not really started yet, and all countries need supplies, so the trade cannot be cut off. However, an unexpected accident happened. The Sand Shinobi team led by Shinshi was intercepted in the country of Grass. And was besieged by Grass Ninja, and directly caught Grass Ninja village. After this news was sent back to the Land of Winds, after Sanagakure, Gaara went berserk immediately. The quicksand that erupted in an instant floated directly from around Sanagakure. The terrifying sand waves swept quickly in all directions. Such a scene terrified the people of Sanagakure. Damn Kusanagi village, a small third-rate ninja village, dare to do anything to my Sanagakure ninjas. Court death. Gaara is very angry. Shinshi is his son, although he is only an adopted son. But Gaara really loves Shinshi. Since the country of Grass doesn't care about life and death, then kill him for me. Just to test whether those scientific ninja tools are worth the price. Although Gaara is not the only Kazekage in Sanagakure now, but as a contemporary Kazekage, his son had an accident. Do the other Fungyings still want to stop him? Furthermore, it is only a small country to deal with. Since this small country wants to jump out at this time, then use them to make an example to others. A large number of Sand Shinobi ninjas appear. Tens of thousands of Sand Shinobi ninjas headed for Kusanagi village. However, such a situation, at such a tense moment, is quite eye-catching. Tens of thousands of Sand Shinobi ninja troops are for the current 5 major countries. Maybe it's nothing. After all, it is wrong that there are not 100,000 ninjas in that big country. During the equipment competition, all countries are frantically recruiting troops. Under such circumstances, tens of thousands of ninja troops are actually very few. However, in this special period, tens of thousands of Sand Shinobi ninjas are not on the move. This beat everyone's nerves. Konoha immediately held an emergency meeting. Where is Hokage-sama? A group of Konoha Jonin rush into Naruto's office, only to find no one there. At such a critical time, Naruto is gone. This is quite an astonishing thing for the whole Konoha. Konoha's Hokage, Konoha's 6th generation item, has disappeared. When is this? Hokage will leave Konoha Shinobi Village, not to mention what exactly Hokage is going to do with. No matter what you do at this time, you should never leave Konoha easily. The Jonin of Konoha felt that they couldn't sit still. Where did Hokage-sama go? What time did you dare to leave Konoha? Now the people of Sanagakure have already started to act, and they are coming towards us aggressively. What should we do in this situation? Shikamaru sighed helplessly, who knew such a problem would arise at this critical moment. He had sent someone to Mount Myoboku to deliver the news as quickly as possible. The toad on Mount Myoboku will deliver the information to Naruto. But right now, the priority is dealing with Sanagakure's massive amount of ninja changes. What's the noise? Konoha's 6th generation is out of sight, but isn't it still ours? Saying second Hokage, Senju Tobirama came out. The appearance of Tobirama made the Jonins quiet a lot, but there were still Jonins clamoring to see Naruto immediately. Unlike other ninja village shadows who deal with problems together, Konoha Naruto's prestige is still quite high. So these Konoha ninjas, they believe in Naruto more than first Hokage and others. Tobirama was unable to suppress these ninjas by himself, and his face suddenly became a little ugly. At this time, Hashirama in the distance smiled, and he told Tobirama before he went that he alone could not suppress these Konoha ninjas. Although Konoha's ninjas have enough awe in their hearts for these Hokages of the past, but it still can't compare with Naruto's status in their hearts. Naruto is the contemporary Hokage, who turned the tide and saved Konoha and the entire ninja. With such achievements, it is impossible for these Konoha ninjas to succumb to his mere second Hokage. But anyway, Tobirama is also his younger brother, and the situation is urgent, although he doesn't want to snatch anything. Now someone has to stand up and preside over the situation. Just when he wanted to go out, suddenly a ninja suddenly asked, since Hokage-sama is not in Konoha, where is Sasuke-sama? As long as Master Sasuke is here, no matter what Sanagakure wants to do, there is absolutely no need to be afraid. Hearing this sentence, all the Konoha Jonins also nodded. While Sasuke may have disappeared for many events, no such person seems to exist in Konoha's Jonin memory. But the current Sasuke was given that rating by Sage of Six Paths. At the same time, even the contemporary Hokage-sama admits that Sasuke is his companion. One of the strongest ninjas, and the companion of Hokage-sama. Sasuke is basically the second most trusted person of all Konoha shinobi besides Naruto. Hashirama didn't expect Sasuke to have such a high prestige among Konoha. One must know that that kid must have just come to this world not too long ago. The title of strongest ninja seems to be more useful than him, the ninja god. Okay. Since Naruto can't be contacted, Sasuke is naturally unlikely to be able to. It doesn't matter what the two of them did. I can't hope for a while now, but Sanagakure's problem has to be solved. Hashirama spoke, and the voice of the discussion became much quieter for a while. He looked at the crowd. The prestige of first Hokage is much stronger than that of Tobirama. The two went out at the same time, and Konoha and the ninjas of Konoha had almost no other opinions. The two Hokage-samas, what are we going to do now? A Konoha Jonin asked palely. He was not afraid of these menacing San shinobi ninjas. Instead, he was worried that if he didn't handle it well, he might directly provoke a war in the ninja world. The ninja world war breaks out, and when the time comes, people will die. Even as a Jonin, there is a high possibility that he will die in the war. So he will be afraid. These ninjas who have never been on the battlefield are all afraid, but at the same time, the belief in protecting Konoha supports them not to be afraid. Hashirama sighed softly. I know your worries, but if Sanagakure insists on doing something, will you choose to catch him without a fight? Won't. Someone answered almost immediately after asking. Hearing this answer, Hashirama was very satisfied. If this is the case, what should I do, don't you know? Since he will not be caught without a fight, then it is resistance. Sanagakure sent tens of thousands of ninjas towards Konoha. No matter what, Konoha couldn't sit still. These ninjas made a circle, and seemed to plan to come from the direction of the country of grass. This cleverly avoids the unfavorable geographical location of sand silver in the direction of the land of rain. Why did Sanagakure suddenly dispatch tens of thousands of ninja troops? Did you get any information? Hashirama still wanted to double-check. Shikamaru, who was in charge of this aspect, frowned and shook his head. There is no other information at the moment. There is Sanagakure sending ninja troops. No matter what they want to do, we must not take it lightly. At this time, even if the reason is found, it may be the other party's interface, and they just want to show up at the border of the country of fire in advance. It is impossible for the nation of fire not to take precautions. Otherwise, wouldn't it be letting others take the lead? Hashirama pondered for a few seconds. How many people are there in the ninja unit Sanagakure sent? Shikamaru blurted out this question without even thinking about it. 35,000 people. Among them 300 Jonin, 4,000 Chunin, and the rest are Genin, as well as ninja supply troops and medical ninja troops. Add up the total, no more, no less, just enough to make up a ninja troop of 4 people. Hashirama is very satisfied with Shikamaru's answer, and has clarified the local situation. Shikamaru is worthy of Naruto's brains. This kind of thing no longer needs to be ordered. In that case, I have an idea. Regardless of whether Sanagakure intends to go to war or not, I, Konoha, will also send a force of 40,000 people to the border. In this way, in terms of numbers, we are comparable to the other party, and at the same time, we can also secretly convey a message that we don't want to go to war immediately. Why? But gather a ninja troop of 100,000 people in Konoha village, and at the same time tell other ninja villages that Konoha will accompany you at any time if you really want to do something. Don't choose to back down. Then you must dare to make a move. If a person's forbearance is still unavoidable in the end, the battle will not be avoided, and even a lot of initiative will be lost. Hashirama is well aware of this. Instead of choosing a more secure approach, it is better to take the initiative and wait and see. At least it can make the first guy who dares to attack Konoha understand that doing so will not gain the slightest benefit. On the contrary, it is more deterrent. But in this way, it is easy to provoke a ninja war, Mr. Hashirama. Shikamaru thought about the problem in a different direction. He wanted to avoid starting a war as much as possible, and at the same time waited for Konoha to be ready before going to war. This can greatly increase Konoha's chances of winning. But the problem is that this idea is too idealistic. Others are not idiots, who will wait for you to get ready before doing it. It is to take advantage of your illness to kill you. Yes. Once there is friction between the two sides, it will basically soon turn into a big battle that will affect the entire ninja world. Are we really going to do this? Isn't this provoking a war? We are not ready yet. If we really go to war, the other 4 powers are likely to join forces to deal with us. In this way, we may not be able to resist. The Jonin who talked about Konoha expressed their opinions one after another, but what the vast majority of ninjas said. Basically, they are all in fear, as if they dare not take the initiative to attack. In the crowd, Kakashi and Might Guy sighed helplessly. For these new generation of ninjas, even if they are already Jonin. But he has never really experienced war, and he has never even performed a cruel task. I don't understand the turbulent era at all. Only the tougher you are, the more others will fear you. Consequences of weakness. Lord Third Hokage has perfectly interpreted it, although third generation used his own method to preserve Konoha. But it also caused Konoha to fall from the seat of the strongest ninja village. So much so that the position of the commander-in-chief of the Ninja United Army was given to Cloud Shinobi Village. Konoha is the strongest ninja village. How can the position of commander-in-chief be given up to others in this situation? Do you want to see Konoha being invaded, your family, and your loved ones being humiliated, or even killed in front of you? Suddenly Kakashi spoke. Hearing Kakashi speak, all the Jonin shut up. This made Hashirama and Tobirama look at Kakashi in surprise. Although the opponent is just a Jonin, but the prestige in Konoha seems not low. Having never experienced war, it is normal for you to feel fear and anxiety. But don't forget, behind you are people who are sworn to protect. Speaking of which, there are also ninjas from other eras who are also Jonin. Some of them also obtained the power to participate in Konoha's high-level decision-making affairs. And these people, although they only occupy less than 1/3 of the people in this office. But now they are gearing up one by one. Since war is inevitable, let the water come and cover the soldiers to stop it. We, Konoha, are the strongest ninja village in the ninja world. Now Konoha can single-handedly defeat the 4 major ninja villages. There are tens of thousands of ninja troops in Sanagakure. If it were our era, Konoha would have already started fighting. It's not difficult to kill Sanagakure directly. That's right. Another ninja laughed and said, Konoha's military strength is a terrifying number that cannot be compared with the 4 major ninja villages combined. Since this is the case, it shouldn't be us who should be afraid, it's other ninja villages. The words of these people made the Konoha Jonins of the new generation seem to understand all of a sudden. Yes, they shouldn't be the ones to be afraid of. Since people in Sanagakure dare to take the initiative, why can't Konoha? Seeing the look of the crowd, Hashirama knew that it should be a hot strike. Now that you have conquered the fear in your heart, let's begin. But just dispatching ninja troops out, we can't come out with all our strength. But a ninja army of tens of thousands of people can't be without someone to command. So, Hashirama turned to look at Hiruzen. Monkey, this time I'll leave it to you. Hearing that Hiruzen was a little surprised, he let himself loose. Shikamaru immediately understood the intention of first generation. It was not aimed at starting a war with the opponent. The purpose of sending third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen was very simple. Hiruzen is very cautious and will not do anything unless it is absolutely necessary. This also guarantees to the greatest extent that it will not initiate a war. But if the opponent really wants to attack, then with Hashirama just now, Hiruzen will definitely not back down. So such an arrangement is the best. Shikamaru glanced at first generation, and looked at first generation as if he had no plans, but in fact it was just a performance of great wisdom and foolishness. That's right. How could Hokage-sama, who was able to pacify the troubled times, only possess great strength without a little wisdom? Since it is Shodai's order, then I will obey, and Konoha's vanguard will be led by me. Both Konoha and Sand Shinobi dispatched ninja troops towards the country of grass. This move immediately shocked the other three major countries. Thunder Country Cloud Shinobi Village. The Raikages looked at each other, and they also felt a little uneasy in their hearts. The ninjas of Cloud Shinobi have not yet completed the transformation of scientific ninja equipment. Starting a war at this time is extremely unfriendly to them. But things are not waiting for anyone. Konoha and Sand Shinobi seem to want to test each other first. In this case, Cloud Shinobi Village, can't move. We don't move, and neither do others. In the end, is cheaper than Konoha. It's time for Konoha to breathe more. It's like a group of skinny people challenging a big guy. If we go up one by one, we will only be defeated. If you send out the ninja troops first, you will definitely suffer, but if you don't suffer, Iwagakure and Kirigakure probably won't make any moves. So after thinking about it, Cloud Shinobi Village decided to send troops, with the actions of Cloud Shinobi and Sand Shinobi villages. Then Iwagakure and Kirigakure won't be able to sit still. Cloud Shinobi Village is dispatched. The speed of information transmission in this era is much faster than that of previous eras. In less than an hour, Konoha sent out ninja troops, and at the same time Cloud Shinobi Village also sent out ninja troops, and Sanagakure was already encircling Konoha from left to right. Iwagakure and Kirigakure don't need to sit back and watch the tigers fight at this time. Since everyone else is moving, if they move slowly, they will also be worried about Konoha's 1-on-2. After solving the two ninja villages, they will free up their hands to deal with them. Iwagakure and Kirigakure also send ninja troops at the same time. An hour ago, the ninja world was still a peaceful scene, but it suddenly became like this 1 hour later, which made everyone feel a little unexpected. And the most unexpected person should be Nagato. I didn't expect that before I started, they couldn't help it. At this stage, Nagato is still preparing for the issue of how to invade Konoha. However, I didn't expect that at this juncture, the 5 major countries could not bear it one step earlier. Especially I didn't expect that the first person to do it would be Sanagakure. According to Nagato's expectation, the first person to conflict with Konoha should be Cloud Shinobi Village. After all, Cloud Shinobi Village now has many Raikages, not to mention, but also is a representative of the martial arts faction. They won't be able to resist, but unexpectedly, the first person to do it turned out to be Sanagakure. This is too surprising. Sanagakure doesn't seem to be aiming at fighting Konoha. Although Seishen didn't know why Sanagakure suddenly sent tens of thousands of ninja troops. But one thing is clear. From a strategic point of view, it is indeed a good choice to attack Konoha from the direction of the country of grass. But there is a problem. If Sanagakure attacks Konoha from here, then the supply line will be longer. If Konoha sends ninja troops directly through the land of rain, not only can it cut off Sanagakure's supply line, but it can even directly counter-threat Sanagakure's homeland. In this case, the ninjas of the country of grass are very passive. Cut directly by Konoha, this part of the ninja troops is completely free. If Sand Shinobi wants to secure the advantage of attacking Konoha from the land of grass, then it must defend Konoha from the land of rain. It should be heavily guarded in the country of rain. But Sanagakure didn't. If this is a tactic, then it can only be said that such a tactic can only be described as ridiculous. Nagato saw that Sishen seemed to have thought of something deeper, but he just smiled faintly. I don't care why Sand Shinobi went to the country of grass. It doesn't matter even if it's just to travel. What's important is that if he moves like this, the entire ninja world can't continue to maintain peace. This is the most important question. As long as the ninja world is not peaceful, then he can start to act. So next you're going to start. Hearing this, Nagato smiled. I'm not like you, I am willing to stay here and do nothing. I don't want to hand over the future of the world to anyone, let me guide the world. Speaking of the Otsutsuki people in the distance. Yi Shi smiled. Dao Shi sneered with some disdain. Just because you want to guide the world? Ridiculous. Human stupidity is greater than I imagined. Jin Shi also sneered. Anyway, we should be happy to have this idiot help us. All smiles. Dao Shi nodded, which is good. With this guy named Nagato taking action, they should have a lot of actions. Ichishiki and the others' target is the tailed beast, but they are not chakra who want to snatch the tailed beast now. Snatching the tailed beast now is undoubtedly jumping the nerves of the 5 great powers. So they can't do this now. What they have to do now is to collect the force area of the Otsutsuki family. The tailed beast they summoned together has not yet become a sacred tree, so people from the Otsutsuki family are required to sacrifice to the tailed beast. But among the people here, I am afraid that no one wants to be used as a sacrifice, and at the same time, it is not enough to sacrifice 1 or 2. So you need to follow up. So I thought of a place. Konoha. There are not many people who have the blood of the Otsutsuki clan. The 2 big families of Konoha, Hyuga and Uchiha, and Senju and Uzumaki. These bloodlines all contain the power of the Otsutsuki clan, and 1 or 2 clansmen is definitely not enough. But what about hundreds of clansmen? Therefore, Yishi's purpose is very simple, to capture enough people from the 4 races and sacrifice them to the tailed beast. The Yi-tailed beast has successfully evolved into a sacred tree. Then wait for the 5 major powers to fight to the death. During this time, while absorbing the power of the sacred tree to strengthen themselves, they are preparing to deal with Uchiha Sasuke. This is the plan of Ichishiki and others. The Uzumaki family has appeared in the country of Uzumaki, and successfully rebuilt their country. The people of the Senju clan are hiding somewhere in the land of fire near the village of Itonin. When Nagato attacked Konoha, Momoshiki and I are in charge of arresting the Uchiha and Hyuga clans in Konoha village. Kinshiki and Kagaya, one of you is in charge of the Senju clan in Itonin village, and the other is in charge of the Uzumaki clan in Uzumaki. As many people as possible, each person. All 4,000 people were sacrificed to the tailed beast. With the power of the Otsutsuki blood contained in the 4,000 people, it should be enough for the 10 tails they summoned to successfully evolve into a sacred tree. Dao Shi, Jin Shi, and Kagaya nodded silently after listening. However, there is another problem that needs a little attention. Try not to expose yourself as much as possible, and leave the fighting to those Shao organizations over there. We also need a little camouflage. Camouflage? This makes Momoshiki a little upset. Does the proud Otsutsuki clan need to be sneaky? There is no need for this at all, but he has also seen Uchiha Sasuke's strength, if he really wants to face Uchiha Sasuke. He is probably not an opponent either. Although very unhappy, but also had no choice but to agree to the other party's proposal. When do we start moving? Dao Shi asked. Yi Shi turned his head and looked at where Nagato and the others were, on the other side of this different space. That depends on when these guys set off. Anyway, we are not in a hurry and have time to wait. Tsunade asked Nagato the same question as you. When are you going to start? Hearing this, Nagato frowned. What? Your companions in their ninja transformations have not been fully completed, and now they are only in a semi-finished state. I am afraid that they will fight at this time. Nothing really waits until you're fully ready. There is no absolute fairness in the world. Saying that, Nagato glanced at everyone. After Konoha and Sanagakure's confrontation in the land of grass begins, we'll be ready to go. If Konoha and Sand Shinobi hadn't started a war, then this first fire, I'll throw what it gets. If the 2 sides go to war directly, then let me add fuel to the fire. At this moment, Nagato's face looked a little crazy. The hideous look made Shion feel a little startled. This transformation of scientific ninja equipment has brought Nagato's strength to another level. And the scientific ninja tools that incorporate the secret technique are indeed a bit pervert. All this is thanks to these 2. One is a genius in the science of technology, while the other is a genius in the true science of ninjutsu. Amador and Orochimaru jointly created a new scientific ninja system. It far exceeds the scientific ninja system developed by Amador alone, with the core as the key point. Now Nagato and the others, if they don't really know their weaknesses, it is quite difficult to kill them. Not to mention, the current Nagato, they have incorporated the ability that can truly be called unlimited chakra. Immortals. A scientific ninja tool that incorporates immortal arts, possesses completely different powers. Nagato right now, even if he doesn't do anything, you only need to activate your own ability a little bit. Then the celestial chakra will emerge continuously. With the blessing of this power, Nagato's use of Rinnegan became easier. Rinnegan's strength has also directly doubled several times. Now Nagato seems to understand why Sasuke is so powerful. Sasuke himself will use the Senjutsu chakra. Moreover, relying on his own talent, he has practiced immortality to an unimaginable level. However, for the pupil technique, the celestial technique chakra did not expect to have such an astonishing effect. It's no wonder that Sasuke looked so relaxed when casting the pupil technique, and the power was terrifying. Plus now Nagato's core has been fully quantized. It is no longer a fixed form, but a stream of energy, an energy form blessed by immortal art. If this stream of energy is not damaged, then they can recover again. No matter how severe the blow is, it doesn't even matter if the body is destroyed. The kernel will restore them again. It's not just Nagato, even other Akatsuki members are like this. However, the difference from Nagato is that the core of Nagato relies on Rinnegan to exist. Because the power of the eyes of reincarnation is very strong, so that Nagato is attacked, and I am afraid that only these eyes will be born in the end. These eyes are very indelible, so the core depends on Rinnegan to exist. This also ensures that Nagato basically will not die. And his Akatsuki members, they are not as special as Nagato. Although their inner core has also become an energy form, but because the technology is not mature enough, it also needs to be attached to a certain solid. So there are more than a dozen fragments in their bodies, and these fragments are all made of very strong metal. If these fragments are not obliterated, then they will not die either. Even if the fragments are destroyed, as long as the recovery process is not hindered, they can also be resurrected. Everyone in the Akatsuki organization should now have the characteristic of immortality. It is extremely difficult for ordinary ninjas, even ordinary shadows, to kill them. It all depends on the specific situation of Konoha and Sand Shinobi. Nagato looked at Akatsuki, who was also eager to organize the crowd. The mind has already drifted with the wind to the border of the land of fire and the land of grass. A ninja troop of 40,000 people was formed at 0 o'clock, and they rushed here led by 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Because of Hiruzen's caution, he has already stationed at a position 1,000 meters away from the border. The straight line distance is 1,000 meters, but in fact there is a row of mountains. This position is actually not conducive to offense, but it is also not conducive to offense. Hiruzen thinks it is a very important thing. This also shows Konoha's attitude. Konoha doesn't want to take the initiative to attack, but if Sanagakure wants to come hard, then they retreat 3,000 meters at any time, and enter the first line of defense in the Kingdom of Destruction. Where to fortify can also block the enemies from invading the Nation of Fire, and being able to block the enemies is also more beneficial to the Nation of Fire, because it leaves the enemy with a choice of garrison points. There are only a few places that are difficult to defend. As the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen is still quite intelligent, although his strength is not the strongest of the Hokage species in the past. But the scheming is not bad. Master 3rd Hokage, we are hurrying to build the camp, but on the other side of the country of grass, the ninjas from Sand Shinobi have already built the camp. So far, we haven't found their intention to invade Konoha. There is no movement to invade Konoha, which is good news. Explain that Sanagakure is not ready yet, or they are still hesitating. Hearing this, Hiruzen thought for a while. If the other party still hesitated, then he could act more forcefully. In this way, the other party will have more worries, and maybe they will retreat directly under pressure. Send someone to Sanagakure's camp and invite their leader ninja to come and talk to me. Hearing that, this Konoha shinobi disappeared immediately, and went to carry out Sarutobi Hiruzen's order. And on the other side to Sanagakure's camp direction. What do these Konoha ninjas want to do? Could it be that they also know about shinobi, so they come here to attack the Kingdom of Grass and capture shinobi to threaten me, Sand Shinobi? It shouldn't be. This news is well sealed. There is no reason for Yunya to know this information. Then what do Konoha and these people want to do? No matter what they do, we'd better rescue Shinshi from the country of grass as soon as possible. As long as Shinshi doesn't fall into the hands of Konoha, then everything will be fine. Then shall we act now? Get started tonight. The ninjas of Sand Shinobi decided to attack Kusanagi village at night. And Hiruzen on the other side did not receive a reply about Sanagakure. This further convinced Hiruzen that the Sand Shinobi ninjas hadn't really made up their minds. So he decided to wait for a while, and wait and see what happens. Although he has to show strength, let the other party retreat in the face of difficulties. But you can't act too hastily, lest the opponent think that Konoha wants to fight directly and fight back. Being able to frighten the opponent away and at the same time guarantee not to start a war is the best situation for Konoha. Now the other three major ninja villages are dispatching troops, although they have not yet reached the border of Konoha. But once the war here breaks out, Cloud Shinobi will dispatch without hesitation first, and once Cloud Shinobi starts to move, Iwagakure and Hidden Village will not do nothing. A big battle is about to begin. And although this seems to be a matter of time, but if it can delay a little time, let Konoha do more preparations and delay for a while. Early in the morning, while Hiruzen was still tossing and turning, unable to sleep, suddenly found the direction of the country of grass, and there was an amazing fire. And the light of the fire illuminates the sky that is about to light up. Seeing this scene, Hiruzen was a little puzzled. What is this for? Kusanagi village was attacked. At this time, the only ninjas who can attack Kusanagi village are Sanagakure's ninjas. But why would they do this? Letting myself wait for others to ignore me, I ran to deal with a grass ninja village. What is this doing? But no matter what the other party does, Hiruzen can't just ignore it. Master 3rd generation, Sanagakure seems to have raided Kusanagi village last night. Tens of thousands of ninja troops were dispatched. Kusanagi village was destroyed overnight. Now there are still many fleeing Kusanagi coming towards us. It seems to want to seek shelter from our Konoha. Are we going to accept these ninjas? Whether to accept or not is a difficult problem. If you accept these ninjas, Sand Shinobi will have a reason to formally start a war with Konoha. However, if you don't accept them, it seems to be weak in momentum. This further fueled the arrogance of the 4 great ninja villages. How to decide? Did you see Shinshi? Sanagakure's ninja was asking, but his subordinate Sand Shinobi shook his head, no. But a large number of Kusanagi escaped, maybe they took Shinobi with them. Where did you escape to? The direction of Konoha Shinobi's forces. The direction of Konoha Shinobi's forces. Hearing the word Konoha, the faces of the Sand Shinobi present were not very good. This time they came to the country of grass to save Lord 5th Kazukage's adopted son. This is not just a ninja's problem, but also a face of the whole village. If Sanagakure can't find a way to find Lord 5th Kazukage's lost son. So what face do they Sanagakure have to gain a foothold in the 5 major countries? Once the news gets out, then other ninja villages will also laugh at Sanagakure. So the task this time is to rescue Shinshi at all costs, even if it causes friction with Konoha. However, what I didn't expect now is that these damn Kusanagi fled in the direction of Konoha. This time things became more troublesome. If these Kusanagi grabbed Shinki and handed her over to Konoha, what should we do? If Konoha insists on not letting people go, shall we go to war with Konoha? Hearing these 2 questions, the leading ninja also felt very helpless. Why did it become like this? Wouldn't it be good for these damn Kusanagi to stay in their own village? Whether he really wants to go to war with Konoha is a question that even he can't answer. And Lord 5th Kazukage's order is to save Shinki at all costs. Even Lord 5th Kazukage has made it very clear. Even if you start a war with Konoha because of this, you still have to complete the mission. In other words, for Kazukage-sama, even the prerequisites for starting a war are not enough to threaten him. If it weren't for the special period now, no matter who the 5 Kazukages left Sanagakure, they would be known by other villages immediately. I'm afraid Gaara has come to look for Shinshi himself. Let's go. Let's go to the direction of Konoha to see what these Kusanagi are going to do. And the thoughts of Kusanagi are now changing towards the worst situation. They don't know Shinshi's identity. In this special period, they are just solving a team of Sand Shinobi ninjas. Although a lot of things were seized, it was unexpected that Sanagakure's revenge army would be drawn upon it. It even directly wiped out Grass Ninja Village in one fell swoop. This is during the war. Who would have thought that Sand Shinobi's revenge would come so strongly? They didn't even give them a chance to negotiate, and directly attacked Sao Ninja Village overnight, destroying the village directly. If they had known this would happen, they would not have been able to attack that team of Sanagakure ninjas that day. My lord, what should we do now? Sand Shinobi is still chasing us. If this continues, we are really going to the camp of the Konoha Shinobi. Hearing that, Kusanagi, who is the leader, looked in the direction of Konoha. Since Sand Shinobi is so persecuted, if there is no way to survive, then they will have no other choice. Then take refuge in Konoha. Take refuge in Konoha. At this time I'm afraid Konoha may not be willing to fight Sanagakure for us. Hearing this, the leader of Kusanagi had a smile on his face. No. Konoha will. Most definitely. Why did he speak so firmly? Because in this special period, if someone takes refuge, Konoha refuses not only to show weakness to Sanagakure, but also to other ninja villages in the entire ninja world. Once encountering danger in the future, all the ninja villages will not think of Konoha at the first time, but think of the other 4 major ninja villages. Are you willing to surrender the name of the strongest ninja village? Konoha is of course unwilling. If Konoha was willing, there would be no situation like today's embattled situation. Thinking of this, the leader of Kusanagi took the remaining Kusanagi directly to the outside of the Konoha camp. The leader of the 7th generation of Kusanagi village, the country of grass, is willing to join Konoha and become Konoha's ally and affiliated ninja village. Hiruzen, who hasn't figured out what's going on yet. He heard the ninja below report this situation to him. Kusa Shinobu, come to join me Konoha. If you rely on yourself at this juncture, isn't that making yourself and Sanagakure's people a war? Hiruzen is in a bad mood right now. However, even if he is unhappy, he still has to consider a question, that is, whether to accept the country of grass. Are the people from Sanagakure still chasing after? Hiruzen asked, followed by Konoha Shinobi's Kaido. That's right, the Sand Shinobi ninja army is less than 20 miles away from us, and I'm afraid they will arrive in about 15 minutes. 15 minutes to allow yourself to think about this question? I didn't even have time to go back and ask first Hokage for instructions. Hiruzen frowned. Accept, or not. If you accept it, I am afraid that the Ninja World War will break out directly. But if you don't accept it, then other small countries will fall to other countries in the future. At that time, the 4 major ninja villages will let these small countries and small ninja villages all subdue them, and then use them to deal with Konoha. Such a situation will be quite bad for Konoha. But take it. Now the Ninja World War may really break out. This is tantamount to hitting Sanagakure in the face. No. Why did Sand Shinobi attack the land of grass all of a sudden? These guys even chose to destroy Kusanagi village overnight. Something is so wrong with this. If the country of grass hadn't done something to drive Sanagakure crazy, they wouldn't have made it to this point. And it happened to be at this time. Hiruzen now feels that it should not be simple behind this. If the country of grass is accepted, I am afraid that Sanagakure will do it immediately. Outside Konoha's camp, the ninjas of the country of grass looked at the Konoha camp that hadn't responded. Would the people in Konoha disagree? The leader shook his head. No, they will definitely agree. Once rejected, Kusanagi village is not the only one who is rejected. There are also many small countries in the ninja world, and they will lose trust in Konoha. It's not that the country of grass is so powerful, but that the ninja villages of these small countries can't be underestimated if their strengths are combined. As expected, at the time when everyone in the country of grass was very disturbed, 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen came out anyway. He looked at the ninjas from the land of grass with a smile on his face. Everyone, stand up. Our Konoha will always accept any ninja village who wants to get close to our Konoha. Even now is absolutely no exception. But I want to ask a question. What did you do to make Sanagakure's ninjas so crazy? They are chasing you crazily, and they should arrive here in less than 5 minutes. Hiruzen looked at the leader of the grass country with a smile on his face. However, the leader of the country of grass also looked puzzled. Maybe it's because we attacked a Sand Shinobi ninja team a few days ago and robbed some items that originally belonged to Sanagakure. Hearing such an explanation, Hiruzen's first reaction was not to believe it. If only this should not make Sand Shinobi so crazy. Is this guy fooling himself? No. Looking at this guy's appearance, it shouldn't look like he's telling a lie. What he said should be true, but if it's just about snatching things, it shouldn't be so serious. It shows that there should be more important things in this. During the war, the 5 major powers were frantically collecting supplies. There is a shortage of supplies at this time, and the small country does not have as deep a foundation as the 5 big countries. Then there is only one way left for them. That is to grab. If it was just a batch of supplies that were robbed, the 5 major countries would not have so much time to investigate. After all, at this point in time, try to avoid extra complications as much as possible. Therefore, the 5 major countries will also turn a blind eye. After the war is over, the regiment will settle accounts with these small countries. But this time Sanagakure's reaction is obvious that the batch of supplies is obviously not ordinary things. I'm afraid that what you robbed is not simple. Hiruzen looked at the grass ninjas, and the beaten grass ninjas were also very puzzled. It's not like that. That's not the case. Then why Sanagakure's reaction is so violent? It is obvious that you have robbed the important thing. These words make these grass want to cry without tears. They also thought so at the beginning, thinking that they had robbed Sanagakure of some very important supplies, which is why they provoked so many Sand Shinobi ninjas. But it was later discovered that these were simply a batch of things that were too ordinary to be ordinary. At most, it is only slightly more valuable. Such things should not be considered precious. How could this happen in this situation? But before they figured out how to provoke these Sanagakure guys, they had already wiped out the village. Now Kusanagi has no time to find out what is the reason. The villages have been wiped out, and it is nonsense to investigate the reasons, and it has no effect at all. Master Hokage of Konoha, our Kusanagi village really didn't do anything. We don't know why Sanagakure would directly take action to destroy our village, and now my Kusanagi village has been fighting with Sanagakure forever. Master Hokage, we Kusanagi village can become Konoha's most loyal ally. The power of a country of grass is dispensable to Konoha. It does not matter. What is important is Konoha's attitude, and the attitude of willingness to accept small countries to be conveyed. Otherwise, no small country would be willing to rely on Konoha in the future. It doesn't matter what Kusanagi said is true or not. Hiruzen can't do anything now. While talking, Konoha Shinobi on the side suddenly came up. Master Hiruzen, Sanagakure's ninja unit is here. Hearing this, Hiruzen glanced at the group of Kusanagi in front of him. Make them all stand up and hide behind. Hearing this, the leader of Kusanagi finally breathed a sigh of relief. With Konoha's protection, they are considered to have survived. Soon dense footsteps sounded. Then one figure after another suddenly appeared here, and on the flat ground outside the camp, a large wave of Sand Shinobi ninja troops appeared. The leading Sand Shinobi ninja stepped forward and looked at Shinobi standing at the gate of the camp. I froze for a moment. Third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Unexpectedly, Konoha sent this guy directly to lead Konoha's ninja troops. Is this Konoha so arrogant? There are also many high-end combat powers in Konoha village. Sending a third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen is not a big problem for Konoha village at all. Everyone from Sanagakure, this is the land of fire. With so many ninja troops, what do you want to do in the land of fire? Hiruzen was the first to attack. However, the commander of the vanguard of Sand Shinobi did not answer Hiruzen's question at all. Instead, he said directly, hand over those grass ninjas, and we will leave immediately. As soon as he opened his mouth, he came towards Kusanagi, and it seemed that they didn't care about anything except Kusanagi. This made Hiruzen even more curious. What kind of disease did these grass ninjas have to provoke these guys? The attitude is very tough. Sorry, it's obviously impossible to ask Konoha to hand us over with just one sentence. However, if you can tell me why you, Sanagakure, suddenly killed the Kingdom of Grass, tell me your reason, and if it makes sense, we can hand him over to you. Hiruzen originally wanted to be tough first, and then use this way of showing weakness to make the other party willing to sit down and talk. Just sit down and talk, then that's enough. Regardless of whether the negotiations can be concluded in the end, this will be very beneficial to Konoha. Just procrastinating is enough. However, HMPH. To hand in or not to hand in, I advise you to answer me immediately. As for other things, don't care about your Konoha's affairs. Better mind your own business. How could it be possible to tell about their adopted son of Lord 5th Kazekage? Wouldn't that embarrass Gaara? At the same time, Sand Shinobi can't hold back the face. If other ninja villages find out, their son of 5th Kazekage of Sanagakure, a kid with magnet style, was caught by a small ninja village. This is a great shame for Sanagakure. At the same time, at this critical moment when the war is about to start, such a thing will not only embarrass Sanagakure, but will even affect the morale of Sand Shinobi ninjas. And no matter whether it is a battle or a tie in the end, they will be weaker in front of the opponent. This is a very unfavorable thing, how can it be said? And the more the other party doesn't say anything, the less likely it is to release these tolerance. Looks like Kusanagi is holding something nice from Sanagakure. This cannot be let go, because even if there is a war, once Kusanagi gets something that can threaten Sanagakure, it will be even more beneficial to Konoha. Don't tell me. Then the old man won't be able to give it to you. As he said that, Hiruzen's eyes became extremely cold, as if he was ready to do something. And the leader of the opponent was also stunned for a moment. I didn't expect Konoha to be so strong, and at the same time, he really dared to start a war at this time. Good. Since Konoha doesn't shoot, then there is no need to be afraid of Sanagakure. Do it directly. Very good. Konoha ninjas, your Hokage-sama made a wrong decision. You are not afraid of going to war, so are we, Sanagakure, afraid of you? If you don't hand it over, we'll grab it ourselves. Speaking of the leader of the Sand Shinobi Ninja, he raised his hand and threw a kunai directly. Of course, this kunai cannot pose any threat to Hiruzen. But this action shows Sanagakure's attitude. There will be no flinching. Absolutely not. Konoha, on behalf of Sand Shinobi Ninja Village, I officially announce that Sanagakure and Konoha are officially at war. This sentence made Hiruzen, who caught kunai with one hand, completely stunned. How dare these Sanagakure ninjas just declare war with Konoha? He is just the vanguard commander of a ninja force. How could he have the guts to directly represent Sanagakure? Before I left the village, our Lord Kazekage once told me, at all costs, no matter what problems we encounter, if we can't catch the person we want, then just do it without any hesitation, no matter who the opponent is. Kazekage. Will such an order be issued? Hiruzen didn't understand, very much, why such an order was issued. Issuing such an order means that Kazekage has directly expressed his attitude. If Konoha intervenes, then Sanagakure will directly fight Konoha at all costs. And the current situation has indeed evolved into this. Sanagakure has spared no expense. Everyone rush to me. Even if you all die in battle today, you must bring back those ninjas from the country of grass. The leading commander ninja looked deathly at home. There was absolutely no desire to go back alive. Although he has strength comparable to elite Jonin, he has never really experienced war after all. At the same time, what will be faced is also a cage-level ninja. Under such circumstances, the high probability of taking the initiative to attack is death. But even if he died, he didn't intend to back down. Blinking technique. After a quick seal, he directly cast a body flicker technique, and in a sudden moment, the Jonin of Sand Shinobi disappeared directly. Among the new generation of ninjas, there are actually not many ninjas who can cultivate the seal speed to this level. But Hiruzen smiled helplessly. Jonin from Sand Shinobi behind him waved the kunai in his hand, appeared and stabbed towards his neck like a wolf. This speed and strength are completely intended to kill him. And it still didn't hold back at all. Hiruzen helplessly raised his hands in a seal. Earth style, earth double. In the next second, kunai pierced the soil double, and the exploding soil directly trapped the opponent. Immediately afterwards, Hiruzen suddenly appeared from the side, grabbed the opponent's neck directly, and pressed him hard to the ground. Oh Jonin of Sand Shinobi, it's probably too early for you to kill the old man. Give you a chance, as long as you order to stop, the butcher will let you go. However, what Hiruzen didn't expect was that the other party grinned. At this time, the Sand Shinobi rushing forward stopped one after another, and the Konoha Shinobi who were preparing to fight also silently swallowed their saliva. Once they really want to go to war, they will definitely not be so easy. But it will kill people. Whether Konoha and Sanagakure will start a war now depends on what this guy says. Everyone looked at the leader Sand Shinobi on the ground. Snort. Old man, don't underestimate us Sanagakure. Everyone, rush for me, leave me alone, even if I die, then the deputy commander will take over my seat. If the deputy commander dies, the Jonin captain of the first team will take over, and so on. Until the last man dies. We, Sanagakure, will never back down this time. Hiruzen was completely taken aback by the madness. Are you determined to see war break out? These youngsters of the new generation, they simply don't understand what kind of results this will lead to. The gloomy Hiruzen had an ugly expression at the moment. However, seeing him like this, the ninja in charge of Sand Shinobi laughed even louder. Are you afraid? Ha ha ha. Guy Konoha, the last of you can't escape, all of you will die. The Konoha tree is too big, how can it not attract the wind? However, at this moment, the anger in Hiruzen's heart has been completely burned. Stupid guy. Our Konoha, if we are really destroyed, then the entire ninja world may not exist. There is no ninja world without Konoha, so what do we need this ninja world for? Saying that, Hiruzen raised his head and looked at the Sand Shinobi ninjas who were rushing up in the distance, clamoring to kill the Konoha shinobi. Now that you all want to see the style of hell, so let's take a look. What is a real war like? As he spoke, Hiruzen suddenly exerted force on his hand, and under the horrified gaze of the commanding ninja, his aura disappeared immediately. Knocked out by Hiruzen. At this time, Hiruzen stood up slowly. Looking ahead, raise your hands to form mudras. Summoning. Ape Demon. Boom. Accompanied by a white disgust, the ape demon appeared. And directly turned into a Ruyi stick and was caught by Hiruzen. War is not a child's play. Since you want to start a war, then we will accompany you to the end. All Konoha shinobi will be shot to death, not a single one will be left alive. The ninjas of Sand Shinobi broke into a cold sweat with such an order to leave no one alive. This guy doesn't need to be wiped out even if it's a war. However, they don't know that the so-called war has no human feelings to talk about, on the contrary, the more ruthless the better. Because this can deter the enemy more effectively. Only in this way can we reduce the casualties on our side as much as possible. Fire style. Fire Dragon Flame Bomb. The flames that swept out in an instant turned into 3 huge fire dragons, and crazily sprayed out a series of terrifying flame impacts towards the distance. Flames exploded among the crowd of Sand Shinobi ninjas. The mushroom cloud formed into flames rushed into the sky and spread directly. The moment when the flame cloud exploded in the sky, Kirigakure, Iwagakure, and the probing ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village all froze in their hearts at the same time. It started. ×3 war really broke out. The ninjas of the 3 villages sent the news back to their ninja village at the fastest speed almost at the same time. Cloud Shinobi Village in the Land of Thunder, as early as when Sand Shinobi was confronting Konoha, they sent 10,000 ninja vanguard troops to the Iron Country, ready to invade Konoha at any time. And now the battle between Konoha and Sanagakure really started. Then Cloud Shinobi Village is no longer waiting. Directly choose to fight. The Cloud Shinobi ninjas of 10,000 vanguards rushed directly into the territory of the Fire Kingdom. However, Cloud Shinobi Village moved so quickly that surprised Konoha. Initially, Cloud Shinobi Village didn't move, just entered the Iron Country. Konoha didn't send any ninja troops to the border. Because the ninja troops were sent to the border in advance, then it was really time to start the war. But there are also emergency ninjas prepared. At the first moment of Cloud Shinobi's invasion, a Konoha ninja troop of 50,000 people set off from Konoha Village and headed directly towards Cloud Shinobi Village. At the same time, Iwagakure's 100,000 ninja troops also started to go to the Land of Fire. Due to the large number of troops, the supplies were not ready yet, so they did not set off immediately. But on the other side, Kirigakure's 20,000 ninja troops are also planning to take the Land of Waves first. The Land of Waves is a very good port, and at the same time, the bridge directly leads to the Land of Fire. It is a very important strategic location in the country of water. In the Wave Country, Konoha's 10,000 ninja troops were originally stationed here, but no ninja troops were sent to reinforce them immediately. If the Kingdom of Waves is breached, it doesn't matter to Konoha either, he can block the incoming Kirigakure ninjas at Konoha's other line of defense behind the Wave Country. Defense plans have already been drawn up. Shikamaru is in charge of the overall situation. Command the battle. As an existence who has experienced the 4th Ninja World War, Shikamaru can be said to be fully competent. If you want to take advantage of the number of Konoha Shinobi's troops, you must lure the enemy to gather and annihilate them. If you send them up one by one, you will be taking advantage of the opponent.